6.5 The Fan. KF The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Chiefs football.
Touchdown, Kansas City!
And your home for Royals baseball.
Fastball hit high in the air, deep left field, way gone into the bleachers. A two-run homer for Bobby Witt Jr.
Watch The Drive by subscribing on our YouTube channel or listen on demand with the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
This show is always going to stand on principles. Dippin' Dots are incredible. Red Lobster is the best restaurant that America has to offer, and baked beans are trash.
You're listening to Kansas City's FM sports station, 96.5 The Fan. Here's C-Dot.
Let's do this. Another day, another dollar, another edition of The Drive. You are listening to The Drive on 96.5 The Fan, 96.5thefan.com, and also the Odyssey app. My name is Carrington Harrison. Excited, thrilled, delighted to be here with you on this wonderful Friday. We have a lot to get into in today's show. Coming up in about 15 minutes, Matt Tate is going to join us to get his reaction on Bill Self returning for another season as KU's head coach. Flory has also decided to hit the transfer portal. We'll talk about that coming up in just a little bit as well. Josh Vernier will be on the show coming up later today. I also got the opportunity earlier to be joined by Kairos Tonga. So we got a lot to get into in today's show. Let me go ahead and give you a sneak peek for next week. We were supposed to have on Kansas State's new head basketball coach. He had to move it. Something came up. He will be on the show next week. So K-State fans, I don't want you to think that all we're talking about is Jason Crow. I don't want you to think that all we're talking about is Kansas. Yes, those are the two schools that are making news. We have not forgotten that you guys hired a brand new head coach. Casey Alexander was at Belmont. He will be on the show next week. I promise you that. We got a lot to get into in today's show. Why don't we dive right into it? But before we do that, I need you guys to do me a couple of favors. Number one, I need you listening to The Drive each day at 2 o'clock right here on 96.5 The Fan. Number two, I need you to tell one friend to check out the show. Number three, and most importantly, I need you to remember that the open of the show is brought to you each day by our friends over at The Other Place. We got an exciting weekend. Baseball is back. We're winding down the college basketball season. The NBA playoffs are right around the corner. If you're looking for a place to grab a bite to eat, catch a game, get yourself something to drink, hang out with friends, the best place you can do that this spring is with our friends over at The Other Place. I know the weather might not hold up tonight, but it's a great place to sit out there on the patio and have a good time and catch the game. All right, I would like to start with this. Let's start with what I think the top story is right now in sports. And we were waiting to see what was going to happen at North Carolina. We are still waiting to see what's going to happen at North Carolina, but I thought there was a good chance that Tommy Lloyd, Arizona's head coach, was going to end up taking that job. We found out earlier today that that is not the case. Tommy Lloyd is staying in Arizona. Let me play for you what he had to say about it.
I'm happy to announce I'm staying at Arizona. We've been able to get some things done the past couple days. I really appreciate, President Garamella, John Arnold, and Desiree, for showing a real commitment to our program. And, Arizona basketball, you guys know what it means to me. And when I say it's a special place, that always comes from the bottom of my heart. I didn't want to make this entire Final Four about that because I'm just a small part of something much bigger. But on that same note, I'd also like to, let you know that North Carolina is an amazing place. I mean, it's a one of one. And, it's an honor to even be, considered for that job. And, the young kid, for me, the college basketball junkie, watching those games at home, never would have thought something like that could have happened to somebody like me.
So that was Tommy Lloyd, who is the head coach at Arizona. He is going to remain the head coach at Arizona. Let me get you guys the latest. This is from Matt Norlander of CBS Sports. Sources: North Carolina offered Tommy Lloyd one of the two biggest contracts in college basketball. Lloyd took less to stay at Arizona, but will be bumped up to $7.2 million starting next season. He is also going to get a bump for his staff and also some added incentives to their contract structures. He also is no longer going to report to the athletic director. Something tells me They really wanted us to know that because a lot of the behind the scenes, a lot of the rumblings is that he and the athletic director are not on the same page. Doesn't really matter anymore if you and I are on the same page. I do not report to you anymore. This is my question, and I promise KU fans, I am not throwing this out as shade. I'm not throwing this out as hate. I'm throwing this out as a legitimate topic. If Bill Self had announced that he was leaving, number one on the list would have been Tommy Lloyd, I would imagine. Tommy Lloyd just turned down the North Carolina job. I imagine if Bill Self had announced that he was going to retire, I'm guessing that Dusty May also would have been near the top of the list. For those of you that don't know, Dusty May, he is Michigan's head coach. They're still in the national championship picture. They got a chance to win it. They're currently the favorite. Here is John Rothstein of CBS Sports. He says that Michigan is prepared to do whatever they need to keep their head coach.
This is one domino. The next thing I think we need to look at is where does Carolina turn next? Now, I talked in the last hour to Michigan AD Ward Manuel because Dusty May is obviously going to be also at the top of that list. He told me we're prepared when all this is over to do anything we have to do to keep our coach. Gary, that means one thing. Dusty May's kids are not going to have to deal with student loans, and North Carolina is either going to have to wait until after the NBA season to talk to Billy Donovan or go down its list.
This is my question to you, Rob, and text line 913-586-7965. This is not me patting myself on the back, but if you remember, last week I said if I was Tommy Lloyd, I wouldn't take either of these jobs. The expectations are so incredibly high that if I can stay at Arizona, get a bump up now to $7.2 million. That makes me the fourth highest paid coach in college basketball. I don't have near the expectations that I would have at Kansas or North Carolina, but I can get paid like I'm at North Carolina or Kansas, and I can stay here. I basically dominate a portion of the United States map. There is no dominant program on the West Coast. If you want to say that it's Gonzaga, sure. But wouldn't you rather go to Arizona? Wouldn't you rather compete in the Big 12? Wouldn't you rather be in that conference and get the matchups that you're going to get from basically January up until the end of the college basketball season by being at that program? I thought there were a significant amount of advantages to staying at Arizona. That appears to be the choice. I think those same advantages also are there if we're talking about staying at Michigan as well. Now, this is not a problem for Kansas right now. But Rob, I throw the question out there. When Kentucky was looking for a new head coach, they did not get their first, second, or third choice for a head coach. When North Carolina was looking for a head coach, it does not appear that they are going to get their first, second, or third option. I believe if you are Kansas, you have to be operating like this is Bill Self's last season. You have to be operating on a series of one-year contracts now with Bill Self, and at the end of every year, you need to be prepared. Does this recent news or seeing that these Blue Bloods are not being super successful, if you were talking about their ability to swing and go get the head coach that they want, does that give you any fear about what that could potentially mean for the KU job when it eventually comes open?
Yes. The answer is yes. And I was steadfast last week. The KU job is just different. The North Carolina job is just different. These are the top jobs in college basketball. People still leap. I used cross sport. I used Lane Kiffin jumping for LSU. It's just different. I felt that. There was a piece in The Athletic recently of, I forget who did it. They ranked the top jobs in college basketball. Duke was 1, Carolina, Kentucky were 2, and now Kansas came in at 4. Like, those are the still destination jobs is what I felt like. But now, in the span of 3 years, we've had North Carolina open up, and they presumably did not get their top choice. We think they wanted Tommy Lloyd. Tommy Lloyd doesn't say in the press conference how great North Carolina is if he's not at least considering it. He turned North Carolina down. They might have to take Billy Donovan, who's a good coach, but is a guy who's going to get fired in the NBA. And you mentioned Kentucky. The Kentucky coaching search was the epitome of messy. They had to run Calipari out, and then they couldn't get their top choice or their second choice. It was a real problem for the Wildcats, and they ended up on Mark Pope, who has largely underwhelmed in Lexington, I would imagine, based on those expectations. Yes. To answer your question, as a Kansas fan, I now wonder what is the value of a blue blood job if North Carolina, who The athletic thing's one of the top 3 jobs in the sport, and you think is the top job in the sport. If you can't woo a guy away from Arizona, it does give you pause on, okay, is there still a hierarchy in college basketball the way I thought there was?
Yeah, I just think that we are seeing, and my point in all of this conversation was, I think we just got this lesson in college football, and I understand if people weren't paying close attention to it, but I don't know if the appeal of those jobs is there in the same way that it was 10, 15 years ago. You now have the ability with the right NIL to create that situation, and just some teams' basketball fans have not been conditioned like other teams' fans. If you are Hubert Davis and you accomplish the exact same thing that you just did at North Carolina, and you do that at about 97% of the other schools, you still have your job, you are being heralded as a great coach, and you are being applauded. That's not the case at some of these universities. So I understand the argument that these jobs are going to attract the best and the best want to be there. I don't know if we're starting to see that as being evident. Not when I saw Florida's head coaching job open in college football and they ended up getting Tulane's head coach. Not when I see the Auburn job open and no one really seems to be interested in this. 10, 15 years ago, these jobs were no-brainers. You would absolutely take these jobs. You had to take these jobs if you were a coach. They had the big budgets and the big resources, and that's where the kids wanted to go. I just don't know if that's the case in 2026. Now, we're talking about this coach stayed at Arizona. That's a team that has shown you they can compete for Final Fours and national championships. They've done it before. We're talking about coaches staying at Michigan. But I really think no one is arguing that Arizona or Michigan has the cachet of a Duke, of a Kansas, of a Kentucky, of a North Carolina. But if I'm going to get paid like those guys, I'm going to get NIL budgets the way that those guys are going to get. And I'm also just not going to be saddled with the expectations that the administration or the fans are going to put on me. I can just understand why these coaches are deciding to stay where they are. This is a great deal if you're Tommy Lloyd. $7.2 million. Again, that makes you the 4th highest paid head coach in college basketball. Self is 1, Calipari is 2, Dan Hurley is 3. Now you insert Tommy Lloyd. You got more money for your assistants. You got incentives for your assistants. You got the warm weather. You got the entire West Coast. You clearly have a system and a structure that ends up working out. I think in the end, Tommy Lloyd made the right decision staying at the University of Arizona, and I think they have the best team in college basketball, and I expect them to be the last team standing and cut down the nets coming up on Monday night. Coming up on the other side, we're going to be joined by Matt Tate, who covers the Kansas Jayhawks. A lot of KU stuff to talk about. What's going on with Flory? This is the 2nd year in a row that he has done this to Kansas, and the news about Bill Self returning to KU. That's all coming up. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on Kansas City's only FM sports station, 96.5 The Fan.
Things are really heating up in the college basketball tournament, and FanDuel is giving all customers a profit boost every single game day leading up until the big championship game. Build a same-game parlay for your shot at a bigger payout, or try live betting and jump in right after tip-off. Best of all, with FanDuel, you get paid instantly when you win. So just visit FanDuel.com/local to get started. That's FanDuel.com/local to claim your first profit boost and keep the action going now until the big championship. Take advantage of FanDuel College Basketball Profit Boost to build a parlay or use it live betting right after tip-off every single game day. FanDuel, play your game. FanDuel Sportsbook is the official sportsbook of 96.5 The Fan. 21 and over and present in Missouri. Opt-in required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Straight Talk Wireless presents Pickup Truck Wisdom.
If you're only good to your new friends, you're not going to have any old ones. Straight Talk gets it. That's why new and existing customers get free 5G phones on Verizon's 5G network. Pretty simple, really. You keep good people by being good people.
Find us at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Straight Talk Wireless. Straightforward. Always. Taxes and fees apply. Plan purchase required for free phone offers. Copyright 2026 Verizon.
I move mountains for a living. Literally. That means I don't carry hand lotion, and when it comes to serious heartburn, I don't mess around with anything but Rolaids. Rolaids' dual-active formula has calcium carbonate and magnesium hydroxide that relieves heartburn fast. Yeah, you heard right. 2 actives for that powerful relief. And the best part? The roll fits right here in my pocket, so I can get back to moving mountains.
Rolade spells powerful relief. Read each label. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
This wasn't how Patrick pictured himself in retirement. Instead of playing golf every day, he could barely walk because of his severe knee pain.
It hampered everything because it hurt to walk around the golf course. It hurt to swing, just pretty much hurt doing anything.
But the groundbreaking regenerative treatments at QC Kinetics changed everything for Patrick. QC Kinetics uses your body's own healing properties to help repair and restore damaged tissue in your knees, hips, back, and shoulders. No surgery, no drugs, no downtime.
The turnaround's been amazing from where I was to where I am now. I've gone from a 15 handicap down to a 7 handicap. That's because my knees allow me to play golf like I haven't been able to play probably in 15 years.
Don't let joint pain keep you from doing what you love. Call QC Kinetics today for your complimentary consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. 816-412-6299.
There's a difference between liking a house and actually getting it. Redfin is built to make up that difference and close the gap between finding and owning the home for you. Redfin agents close twice as many deals as other agents, so when you find a home you love, you're not a step behind when it's time to make an offer. That means less watching great homes disappear and more focus on the ones you'll actually move into and call home. Redfin helps turn saved listings into real addresses. Get started at redfin.com. Own the dream.
Springfest means more sun, more fun, and more free at Lowe's. Keep your yard in line with an additional free Ego 56-volt battery when you buy a select Ego mower, trimmer, or blower. Plus, keep landscaping fresh with Stay Green 1 cubic foot garden soil, 5 bags for $10. Our best lineup is here at Lowe's. Valid through 4/8 while supplies last. Selection varies by location. Soil offer excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
The NFL offseason is here, but the action never stops. The draft is right around the corner, and Heed the Call NFL podcast with Dan Hanzus and Mark Sessler is your pro football destination. Prospects, team needs, and pick-by-pick coverage of draft weekend.
Heed the Call covers all things NFL, and we have fun. No fake hot takes or boring data dumps here. Just entertaining football talk from your favorite buds at the bar.
So come hang out with the Heed the Call heroes for football news, analysis, and mirth. All the mirth. Follow and listen to the Heed the Call NFL podcast wherever you get your podcast.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
Follow this station on Instagram at TheFan965 for giveaways and behind-the-scenes content.
Let's head to the phone lines right now to be joined by Matt Tate of R1S1 Sports. Certainly a lot of Kansas basketball news to get into. Matt, how you doing, my man?
I'm doing fantastic. Thanks. How are you?
Doing great, man. Happy to have you on the show today. I have never been.
Took a minute, didn't it?
It did. I know. It took a while. We're happy to have you on here. I have never been. You have been. What's it like to go to the Final Four?
Oh my goodness, it's unbelievable. It's the best thing just because of the stage and everything around it. Whatever city you're talking about, let's see, San Antonio, New Orleans a couple of times. I mean, right there alone, you're talking about those are cool cities in the middle of September. But when you throw a Final Four around it, it just those cities, I think, reach another level, and everything is attached to the Final Four. And then, of course, you know, from a professional standpoint, it's a week of access. It's a week of telling stories about the biggest games of the year. It's all eyes on what you're doing and what the teams that are there are doing. And I mean, it's just it doesn't get better than that. It's a blast. And every year I'm not there, it's kind of like, well, I guess I'll get back someday, and I do think I will, but you never know.
Matt, it's felt like the momentum was starting to shift over the last couple of days to Bill coming back. You are as close to this as anybody. Why do you think Bill is coming back?
I think he wasn't done. I think it's that simple. I think that as much as, he opened up in San Diego after that loss, and for the first time in his career, 33 years as a head coach, for the first time he said things out loud that he's kind of always done. I mean, when he was 48 years old, he wasn't necessarily looking at, is it over for me? Am I going to look at quitting this year? No, but the last handful of years for sure, at the end of every season, I think he's taken inventory and talked to family and things like that. He's just never said it out loud before. And so when he said that in San Diego, that, he was going to take some time and effectively make a decision, that was the first time we'd heard that. And so I think even though he opened up and put that out there, even as he was talking about it, I know he didn't want it to be over. But again, for the first time, it seemed to me anyway, that he was willing to, okay, I'm going to give my family a real say in this thing. I'm going to talk to doctors. I'm going to do whatever I need to do to find out if moving forward with it is the right thing to do. And if it's not, I'll hang it up. And so I think it was a long process. I think it involved family. It involved doctors. It involved KU, obviously. And it was probably a very long 8, 9, 10 days for everybody involved with it. But I think that he's back because he doesn't want to be done.
Matt, are you operating like this is going to be Bill Self's last year?
I think we're at a point now where it certainly could be every year, but I also could see it being another 2 or 3. I don't think we're going past that. I really would be surprised by that. But I do think that because he did it this way this year and said, hey, look, I'm going to take a look and see how it feels and see what people think and see what everybody tells me. I wouldn't be surprised at all if he does that again next year. And maybe that's the same result. Maybe he's back for another one after that. But I do think that moving forward, it does seem like now more than ever, whatever he has left, the season in front of him certainly could be the last one. So I'm not fully looking at it that way. I don't think that it'll be a super nostalgic and a bunch of tracking little things that maybe wouldn't be tracked otherwise. But every once in a while, you take inventory on that kind of stuff just in case it is.
We were talking about this in the open earlier. Right now, we're talking to Matt Tate, who covers the Kansas Jayhawks. We were talking about this to begin the show. It looks like Tommy Lloyd is going to stay at Arizona. I would imagine that Dusty May is also going to stay at Michigan. I'm not really sure where North Carolina is going to go next. When the Kentucky job was open, they also had to scramble a little bit to find their next head coach. Does that give you any concern about Kansas when that job opens up? I guess maybe not how valuable it's going to be outside of it, but if they're going to be able to get their number 1, number 2 option.
Yeah, I think that's way different now than it would have been 5 or 10 years ago. This cycle, certainly with Carolina and as you mentioned, Kentucky, I mean, that shows it. That's proof right there. So I don't know if worried is the right word. I mean, I don't even think KU is worried about that. I think KU believes it's the job in college basketball for a lot of reasons, and there's a lot to sell there. And so I think if it comes to it at the end of next season, they'll go after it with the expectation that they can get almost whoever they want. And, but times have certainly changed. And I think, when you're talking now, it's less about recruiting to a place and it's more about paying to get guys to a place. That changes it. I also think that, timing is so important in these things, right? I mean, if Dusty May or Tommy Lloyd had lost in the first round, would either one of them be considering North Carolina right now? Maybe, right? But they made the Final Four, and one of them is going to go to the title game. So, the timing of it is a factor too with your list and guys that you want. And I've got a story on our site today that, and maybe we talked about this one of the past couple times that I was on with you, but for years, man, I've been doing this 20 plus years, right? And all kinds of road trips to Big 12 cities and driving this way and that way and colleagues in the car. And it seemed like every time, I mean, even going back 10, 15 years, it seemed like every time there was a lull in the conversation or we didn't have music going or whatever, somebody would say, who's going to replace Self? And, no one thought then that it was coming right around the corner or anything, but it was always fun to make those lists. And some of them, I didn't write them down or anything like that, but they were pretty ridiculous at the time. You look back at some of them and you're like, how was that guy on there? But at the time he made sense. And so I remember almost every time we had those conversations, I kept sort of thinking in my head that, we could put Jay Wright and Brad Stevens and Greg Marshall and whoever else we want on that list in the present moment. But I always made sure to include the caveat of, my guess is it's probably somebody we're not even talking about today. And if you look at it, if Self had decided to hang it up, the names that were kicked around, Tommy Lloyd, Ben McCollum, TJ Otzelberger, who else are we talking about? I'm missing a big one. Those Dusty May, obviously, those names were relative unknowns 5-10 years ago. And so I don't know if that's the case if it's next year, but it still wouldn't surprise me at all if there's some guy on the rise that we're not talking about who by this time next year is the name. I mean, Ben McCollum's that this year, right? At this time last year, he was a nice little story, had a hell of a D2 career, showed he could do it at Drake and was moving on to Iowa. And was that the ceiling for him? And now he's been thrown around in Kansas and Carolina conversations. So is there another guy like that? Maybe, or 2 or 3 guys like that. So I think in some ways we learned a little about what it might look like when he is finally done. But, it doesn't mean that any of these guys in this cycle will be names in the next cycle. It's just, again, the timing is so critical.
Right now, we're talking to Matt Tate, who covers the Kansas Jayhawks for R1S1 Sports. A lot to get his thoughts on. Let's talk about Flory, who has once again entered the transfer portal. Matt, I'm all for guys getting paid. I'm all for freedom of movement when it comes to player. This is the second year in a row that Flory has done almost the exact same thing. This is why people hate the transfer portal.
Yeah, there's no doubt. And look, like last year when he was in and it was really close to, Auburn taking him, I think KU fans were freaking out, and understandably so. I mean, he was a big piece of what they had coming back and obviously had a ton of potential and had barely scratched the surface on what he could do. So I think they were really, really excited when he decided to stay. I think they were freaking out at the thought of him leaving, and I think this time around it's a little bit different. I think people would love him to stay, but I also think they're not going to freak out if he leaves. I mean, because this is, becoming the norm. This is something that people are not necessarily liking, but getting more and more used to for sure. And I think, from what I can tell, talking to KU fans and seeing the social media buzz and all that stuff, it's kind of like, dude, if you don't want to be here, go ahead. That's fine. And it doesn't mean it's good news for Kansas. I think the 26-27 Kansas basketball team is undeniably better with Flory on it. But if you got to overpay to keep him, or you got to beg him to stay for the second year in a row, or all these other things that factor into roster building now, I think everybody reaches a point where they're just like, I don't want to do that, man. So do what's best for you, and we'll do what's best for us. And if it matches up, then cool. And if it doesn't, good luck to you. And I think Kansas fans are way more prepared for that kind of an outcome this time. And I'm not saying they wouldn't miss him, and I'm sure some would be pretty devastated. But by and large, I think most of them would be like, that's fine. We'll find somebody and we'll roll without him.
This whole thing, Matt, it just honestly doesn't make any sense. It's like laying in bed with Megan Fox and you're thinking, I could do better than this. I'm thinking, no, you can't. Like, this is the absolute best situation for you.
I agree, man. I mean, and that's what I think. And I wrote this last year when he was, flirting with Auburn or whatever. It was kind of like, man, at the end of the day, if playing for a Hall of Famer at Allen Fieldhouse with the best exposure you can get in the game for 7-figure money, if that's not good enough for you, then yeah, go ahead and go. Whatever you need, man. I mean, it was something that I understood then because, I'm not as invested as a fan, right? So I was trying to help people understand that if that's not good enough, then this is a character thing. This is a personal decision. This isn't about Kansas, because if Flory decides to leave, or if he had left last year, it doesn't diminish what Kansas is. It doesn't say anything about Kansas. It says everything about him.
Right now, we're talking to Matt Tate for a couple more minutes here, getting his thoughts on all the stories that are happening with Kansas. I haven't heard any update on this. Is there a chance that Melvin Council comes back next year? Because I'm looking at what happened with Diego Pavia. This feels like this would be under the same guidelines.
Yeah, I mean, he would love to. There's no doubt about it. And he's funny, man. You know that. You saw him all year. I mean, he every time he would get asked about it, you know, he would kind of say, I haven't even looked into it. I'm going to do that. And then the next time, hey, have you looked into it? Yeah, I talked to my agent. What'd you find out? Well, it's probably 50-50, which Carrington, I'm a believer that everything's 50-50. So, it's either going to happen or it's not. So I kind of laughed when he said that. And then like 2 weeks after that, somebody asked again and he was like, I think it's probably 80-20 now. And it's like, no, it's not. Nothing's changed. I mean, giving Kansas fans 80% as a possibility that he'll come back was a bit crazy in my opinion. I know he would love to. I know KU would absolutely take him back. And if there's a way to make it happen, that would be really cool. I think he would fit on any team pretty much anywhere, but certainly was one of the most beloved dudes on this team and really one of the most beloved Jayhawks in quite a few years. So I don't think it'll happen. I haven't really kicked the tires on that in a while. I haven't asked anybody in the last few weeks, so I don't know where they're at with that, but everything that I heard up to that point toward the end of the regular season or whatever, that was that, yeah, of course it's worth looking into and it would be cool, but I don't think anybody really thought that it could happen. So unless something dramatically changes or there's something that they can, utilize to increase the odds, I don't think they should expect Melvin to be back.
Kansas is in the final three for Tyron Stokes. For those of you that don't know, Tyron Stokes is the #1 high school player in the country. What are the chances that you think he ends up in Lawrence?
I think they're really good. And I don't know the kid personally, and I've only casually covered the recruitment. I haven't dove into that like I do with some or like I used to. But everybody that I talk to thinks certainly that the idea of playing for Self makes a lot of sense for him. I mean, Kentucky's in the mix, Oregon's in the mix, and neither Kentucky nor Oregon has Bill Self. Mark Pope's a hell of a coach, but when you're a guy like Stokes with the big dreams and wanting the buzz and all that comes with it, certain coaches fit you better. And I think that a guy like Bill Self, who's won a couple national titles and is, widely regarded as one of the best to ever do it, I think that fits what Stokes is about and may fit what he's looking for. Again, it's going to come down to money as much as anything. And I think KU's prepared to pay him, pretty well. I don't think they'll lose out on him because of the money. I could be wrong there, but I don't think that will be why they don't get him if he decides to go somewhere else. The biggest thing I think that is sort of a bit of a hurdle that everybody can obviously see is, I mean, he's a Nike kid and KU's an Adidas school. And so is that a huge problem? Maybe, it might be, but I don't think it is. I think there's ways to mitigate that. I think there's ways for Kansas to, show that that's something they're willing to work with. I think that there's ways for Nike to show, hey, look, all right, it's 1 year at Kansas and then we're still with you. And as you get into the NBA, you're our guy. Okay. Yeah, we'll work with that too. So I don't know that that's quite the automatic. I'm sure there's a lot of Kentucky fans out there that say, well, we're a Nike school and he's a Nike dude, so there's no way he's not coming here. And maybe they're right, but I do believe there's ways around that. So, my gut tells me and what I've heard tells me that he's coming to Kansas. It's just a matter of when. And I think obviously Bill Self coming back dramatically increased the odds of him landing in Lawrence.
That is Matt Tate joining us on the show today. Certainly a lot of news right now with the Kansas basketball program. Matt, I'm going to tell Rob not to bother you until we figure out what happens with Tyron Stokes. You know what? I want you to enjoy the spring. I want you to enjoy the Final Four. I want you to enjoy Easter, enjoy the Masters. We'll catch up with you in a couple of weeks.
That sounds good, man. I always enjoy it and appreciate you having me every time. So a lot of people always hit me and say, hey, I'm sure you're tired of talking about it. I don't ever get tired of talking about it. So you need me, you find me, you know where I'm at. But thanks for the sentiment, and I'll mix some golf in there too. Don't worry.
Absolutely. That is our guy, Matt Tate, joining us on the show. He is with R1S1 Sports. covering the Kansas Jayhawks, I want to tell you guys a very, very quick story. There was a time in my life where I would say it was more likely than not that I was going to move. It was more likely than not. I was never 100%, but it was like more than 50-50, maybe like 65-35, 70-30. And I will never forget a conversation that I had. It changed my life. I can't really remember where it was, but I remember like all of the details of the conversation. I was talking to Frank Bowl. You guys remember Frank Bowl, Fox 4, incredible television career. And it was in the middle of when I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do. And I remember Frank Bowl asked me a question. He was like, "When are you going to leave?" And I was like, I don't know. I'm in the process of thinking about it. And Frank Bowl gave me the best career advice that anybody in my life has ever given me. He said, "You know what I really wanted to do? I wanted to get into a market that really appreciated me, paid me a fair salary, was a good place to raise my family, and I was happy with that. Carrington, I hope that for you too." And that was the end of our conversation. And I'm telling you, it was like Frank Bowl was an angel that was sent in my life to give me this advice. This is the advice that I would pass to Flory. I don't understand why we are going through this exact same process again with Flory. It makes absolutely no sense to me. Now, I know that I go back and forth with KU, but I hope that you know your game day environment is second to none. Your program is second to none. Your fan support is second to none. You could argue that Kansas is the best place to play college basketball. I don't know why for a second consecutive season, Flory is going through this process again. What could you possibly be unhappy with at Kansas? I'm guessing they pay you what the market says you're worth. You play in very meaningful games. You play, like, you get minutes on the team. You're one of their most important players. If Flory decides to come back, he'll be preseason all Big 12 next year. You play for a Hall of Fame coach. You're the man in one of the coolest college towns in America. What more do you need than what you already have? Now, if Flory decides to go to the NBA, I think everybody can understand that. But last year, he was entertaining the possibility of going to play basketball at Auburn. What school could you possibly be transferring to? Because I'm telling you, Flory, you're not an NBA player right now. You can continue to grow into and develop into an NBA player, but you are not an NBA player today. Stay in school. You are in a phenomenal place. This does not seem to me like a Flory decision. This seems to me like the people around Flory decision. Now, I don't have the problem with the transfer portal that many of you have with the portal, but if you are very frustrated with the direction that college basketball is in, Flory Badunga is the exact reason why. This is the second year in a row you've done this. Well, I'm going to enter the draft, but I'm also going to enter the portal. I may come back, but I want to listen to other schools and hear what they can offer me. Kansas basketball has made you a millionaire. They've made you a millionaire. What possible situation could you be at better than the one that you're in? Rob, it honestly and truly blows my mind how we are here with Flory.
I don't want to be the person who vilifies the people around, a kid. Like, I remember when Chris Jones was making the decisions to sit out, fans were mad at his agents. I don't want to be the mad at the agent, mad at the camp person. That's just not who I want to be. But I think he's getting bad advice, to your point. Because the rumor, and it is a rumor, I am not substantiating this. I'm not saying this is a hard and fact. This is the rumor. He supposedly is looking for $4 to $5 million. Flory, I'm here to tell you, no one in college basketball is going to give you $4 to $5 million. And if you are going to get $4 to $5 million in college basketball, you're not on a team that's any good because they've blown their NIL budget on you. So if you are only interested in the biggest paycheck, hey man, chase that $4 million. Good luck. But it ain't coming to Kansas, and it ain't coming somewhere you think it's going to come from. So I think he's getting bad advice, but if they believe that money's out there, then go find that money. I think that's what's happening. Like, the rumor is Duke's going to throw that money, which would also surprise me. But hey man, chase the money if it's not at Kansas. But I agree with everything you said about staying at Kansas. You can make $2 million and be a king, but okay.
Yeah, I understand this. CDOT, he's trying to get a raise. It's all about a paycheck. He probably wants someone to overspend for him. I understand that. I guess my point is you are in a phenomenal place. You always can find a woman more attractive than your wife, but she loves you. She's held you down. She's been everything you need her to be. Like, what are you constantly chasing? That's what I don't get with Flory. You're in you cannot be in a better college basketball situation than the one that you're in. What are you chasing? You're chasing extra $100,000, $200,000. You're a millionaire. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Good luck to Flory in whatever decision that he makes. But if I was a KU fan, I'd be very frustrated that we are once again going through the exact same cycle with one of our more important players. Coming up in about 20 minutes, Josh Vernier is going to join us on the show. That's coming up next. Keep it right here. So drive.
Tune in to hear the Hall of Fame voice of the Royals, Denny Matthews.
There's a high fly ball, deep left center. That goes Ward to the wall. Gone. Bobby Witt Jr.
Every Monday at 3, right here on your home for Royals baseball. 96.5, The Fan.
Things are really heating up in the college basketball tournament. It has been a fun one. And remember, the FanDuel is giving all customers a profit boost every single game day leading up to the big championship game. You can build a same-game parlay for a shot at an even bigger payout or try live betting. Jump in after tip-off. Best of all, with FanDuel, you get paid instantly when you win. Just remember to visit FanDuel.com/local to get started. That's FanDuel.com/local to claim your first profit boost and keep the action going from now until the championship game. The tournament has been great so far, but you can make it even better with our friends over at FanDuel. Take advantage of the FanDuel College Basketball Profit Boost to build a parlay or use it for live betting after tip-off every single game day. And remember, with FanDuel, you can play your game with America's #1 sportsbook app. FanDuel is the official sportsbook of 96.5 The Fan. 21 over in President, Missouri. Opt-in required. Bonus is a non-withdrawal profit token which can apply, including any token expiration back wager amounts. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Xfinity Tech Support. Matthew speaking.
Hi, I live in a pretty remote place, like Jurassic Park remote. No!
Wow.
Will Xfinity Mobile work out here?
Yep, the combination of reliable Wi-Fi and 5G makes it so that you can stay connected in all kinds of places. Plus, you get access to ultra-fast speeds and coverage, whether you're poolside or out live streaming with a T-Rex.
Hold still. You're about to go viral.
Welcome to a new era of Wi-Fi boosted mobile. Cut your mobile bill in half with 2 lines of unlimited. Learn more at xfinitymobile.com. Xfinity. Imagine that. Watch Jurassic Park with Xfinity. Restrictions apply. Xfinity Internet required. Savings comparison based on promotional rate for 2 lines of Xfinity Mobile Unlimited versus 2 lines of T-Mobile Experience More, Verizon Unlimited Plus, and AT&T Starter as of February 10th, 2026. Taxes, fees, extra.
Easter's here, and this Easter Sunday, we're going out for brunch, and we're doing that at Hy-Vee. We're skipping the hassle of reservations for an overpriced restaurant brunch, and we're going to the family-friendly buffet brunch at Hy-Vee. $19.99 for adults, $6.99 for kids 6 to 12, and kids 5 and under eat free. And they've got all-you-can-eat favorites like scrambled eggs, biscuits and gravy, sausage, bacon, hash browns, fresh fruit, and so much more. No reservation required. We'll see you from 8 to 1 this Easter at Hy-Vee Market Grill.
Hop into Hy-Vee for all your Easter needs, like baskets, candy, chocolate bunnies, and more. Treat your family to Easter brunch at the Market Grill. Just $19.99 for adults, $6.99 for children 12 and under, and kids 5 and under eat free. Staying home? Make Easter easy with Hy-Vee's pre-made meals. Choose from your favorites, like honey glazed ham, green bean casserole, and au gratin potatoes. Just heat and eat. Make this your most excellent Easter ever, only at Hy-Vee.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
So I own a coffee shop, and I wanted to label everything with our logo.
That's ambitious.
Cups, boxes, bags.
Ooh, that'll add up.
Not at all, because right now, Staples prints custom labels for 30% off.
30% off? That's shockingly affordable branding.
Yep, now our logo and URL are seen all over town.
Brand your business for less at Staples.
That was easy.
Shop Staples in-store, online, or in the app by 4/18 to unlock. Exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for details.
Indeed presents hires you can't afford to get wrong, like a cybersecurity engineer at a publicly traded company.
We've been hacked! They're through our firewall!
firewall.
How is that even possible?
They got my password.
Please don't tell me your password was password.
It's actually password 1.
This is a job for sponsored jobs.
This is what happens when you don't sponsor your job on Indeed. Next time, get matched with quality candidates with Indeed sponsored jobs. Visit Indeed.com/hire now and sponsor your job today.
Ready to celebrate? Hop into Easter festivities with everything you need at Target. First, get ready for your special occasion with 25% off stylish looks. With spring vibes, vibrant colors, and fresh florals, you'll find outfits that match everyone's style. Then, fill up their baskets with endless joy. From select Easter plushies to fun toys they'll love at 20% off. Don't miss out. Make this Easter unforgettable at Target.
Spreadsheets, clunky software, 100 different logins just to run your business? Ah.
There's a better way. Odoo. One simple, connected platform that handles sales, inventory, accounting, and more, so you can focus on growing, not juggling. Make the switch today at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
Subscribe to 96.5 The Fan on YouTube to watch the show from wherever you are.
All right, welcome back into the show. My name is Carrington Harrison. Really happy to be here with you on this wonderful, wonderful Friday. Coming up at the top of the hour, we are going to be joined by Josh Vernier and get his thoughts on the Kansas City Royals. Rob, the lineup is out today, and there is no Carter Jensen in the lineup for the Royals. Do you think this is related to the oversleeping incident, or is this just related to who the probable pitcher is today?
Let me ask you a follow-up to your question. Is Jack Caglione in the lineup? Because if it's no Caglione...
Jack Caglione is in the lineup today. He is playing right field today for the Kansas City Royals. So let me give you the lineup.
There we go.
Garcia, Witt Jr., Pasquantino, Perez, Caglione, Marte, Collins, Lofton, and Isbell. That is who is starting today for the Kansas City Royals.
That's a pretty right-hand heavy lineup. So I would think, and we can talk to Vern about it here in about 10 minutes, I would think that no Carter is based on his being left-handed, because a lot of those guys are right-handed, but it is noteworthy that Carter Jensen's missing a second game in a row.
Okay, I just wanted to throw that out there. Wanted to just get your opinion. We'll ask Vern coming up. I was talking to some Royals people yesterday. They said there was no shenanigans. There was no funny business. This was just a young guy made a mistake. First time it's happened. We think he's going to learn from it. That seems to be the sentiment coming out of Kaufman. We'll ask Vern if that is the case on why Carter is not in the lineup today for the Kansas City Royals. All right, couple of things before we get to the Royals. We're going to take I wouldn't say a hard left away from sports, but follow me here for just a bit. Rob, did you know that today is Eddie Murphy's 65th birthday? Happy birthday to Eddie Murphy. I don't know if this counts as a hot take or not, and that's why I want to ask. I think Eddie Murphy is the funniest person that's ever lived.
As like stand-up or actor?
Whatever you need him to be. Television star with Saturday Night Live, transitioned into movie star, and one of the best stand-up comedians that we have ever seen. Every form of comedy that you could potentially master, Eddie Murphy mastered. One of the most popular stand-up specials that we have ever seen. One of the brightest stars on the comedy show of all time, and probably has 4 or 5 comedy movie classics. I think Eddie Murphy is the funniest person that's ever lived.
It's not a bad... He's definitely on the Mount Rushmore. Like, I don't know if he's 1-1, but I don't think this is a hot take. If you were building the top 5 funniest people of all time, Eddie Murphy has to be in your top 5, and he ain't 5. I don't know if he's 1, but I don't think having him at 1 is some crazy, outlandish, I can't believe they did that take.
Okay, I just wanted to throw that out there for Eddie Murphy's 65th birthday. Do you have a favorite Eddie Murphy movie? You know me, I love Coming to America.
I'm going to say Coming to America is very high on the list. It's probably number 1 when I think it is off the top of my head. Oh, no, Beverly Hills Cop. Beverly Hills Cop's my favorite one.
All right, I was curious to get your opinion.
He also did, and this is not a negative, he pivoted into kids' movies for like a minute. Remember, he had Dr. Dolittle and Dr. Dolittle 2.
Very funny.
Those are actually good kids' movies.
He's got some stinkers, though.
Yes, he does.
He's got some absolute stinkers.
No one bats 1,000.
He's got a lot of Adam Sandler in that vein. Like, Adam Sandler has some absolute classics, also has some stinkers. So does Eddie. He was definitely a volume shooter there for a time.
I saw a podcast where he said he turned down something to do Norbit, and it's one of the biggest regrets he has. And I forget what it was. But yeah, there was some misses in that for sure. No doubt.
Rush Hour. I think that was the one.
That's what it was. You're right.
He's supposed to be Chris Tucker's character in Rush Hour.
Which, imagine turning down Rush Hour to do Norbit. Yikes.
You know what? Sometimes things work out how they're supposed to work out.
It came out perfect.
The two people that ended up doing Rush Hour were the two perfect people to end up doing Rush Hour. I don't know if Rush Hour is a worse movie if you swap out Eddie Murphy for Chris Tucker. Like, I don't know if it's a worse movie, but the correct two people ended up doing Rush Hour.
Sometimes it works out. Like, I don't think Will Smith would have worked as the Matrix, and he was offered the Matrix, so it all worked out.
I actually disagree. I think the original plan for the Matrix was that he was going to be Neo and that Val Kilmer was going to end up being Morpheus. I think that actually ends up working out.
I don't know. It's better.
Will's been really good in that kind of genre of movie. If you're telling me it's like a sci-fi but an action movie, I actually think The Matrix is still a good movie if we get that version of it.
I don't know. It's better. Maybe that's a better way to say it. Does it get better with Will Smith and Val Kilmer? I forgot Eddie Murphy's in Shrek. That's someone on the text line points that out.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, he's not my favorite funny person. I'm a Chappelle fan, but if we're going down their accomplishments, I'm talking mastered all three forms of comedy. I think you can make the case Eddie Murphy is the funniest person that's ever lived. All right, second thing that I want to play for you guys before we get very serious back into the Royals. You guys know that I am somebody who spends my time on TikTok. It is actually one of my favorite time-wasting activities, and sometimes I find a TikTok on there that I want to share with you guys. Let me share with you something that came across my algorithm earlier today.
I expect a man to pay for the date. Yes, the whole entire date. That includes my Uber to the date and my Uber back to my house. If you are a man that I'm interested in, I want to see that you can provide for me. I want to see that you can afford an Uber ride. I want to see that you can afford a nice dinner date. Like, can you afford basic things? Because if you can't afford dinner and an Uber, my transportation, you certainly can't afford kids. You certainly can't afford a house. You certainly can't afford my bills. And I got bills to pay. Okay?
Hey, Rob, what's going on? You think this is a troll? You think this is a joke?
I'm legitimately speechless back here.
I'm stunned when I saw this. I don't know what made me watch this whole TikTok. Is that legitimate? Is that the expectation? Is the expectation, because I think we've had this before. You are going on a date. Maybe she's not ready for you to know where she lives, which is perfectly fine. You figure out your way to the function. I'll figure out my way to the function. If things go well, maybe you ride in the car, we'll go do something afterwards, and then I'll drop you back off at the crib. But the expectation is that I got to Cash App you or I got to Apple Pay you some money to pay for your Uber? Why didn't you drive? Why don't you have a car?
And I mean, big leap here, too, by the young woman on the TikTok saying, if you can't afford for the Uber to the date, it's clear you can't afford kids. That's a pretty hefty jump you've made back there. I'm sorry that I'm not paying the $9.95 to get you to the bar you're a relative stranger. That's quite the leap. I would not pay for. I think most women would not want the man to pay. I think that would be weird. Like, if you're going on a first date and you text the one, hey, I got your Uber, that would be odd behavior to me.
Okay, I didn't know. I think the only time that you're required to pay for the Uber is if
you're in it together.
Well, I mean, I would also say there's maybe been a time in which you would like for her to come to the crib and you're just like, you know what, I got you and I'll make sure you get back to the crib. I think you could potentially handle it that way.
Mutual location. Yeah.
But I gotta cover your transportation. Especially where we live, it's in Kansas City. Why do you not have a car? Why are you not driving? Are you planning on having that many drinks that you can't get yourself home? We don't live in Chicago. We don't live in New York where it's kind of standard to not have a car for a lot of people. We live in everybody's got a car in Kansas City. You don't have a ride? I got to pay you for the Uber? This doesn't make any sense to me.
And depending on where in the city you live, like if
I got to go pick you up from 135th and Metcalf.
Correct.
Or I got to be the one to drive out there.
I would say, like, let's say the woman lives out by where I live and you guys go on a date at Crossroads. That's an expensive Uber for you to pick up.
You love the Crossroads. You love it.
I just picked two random locations. I don't know what you're talking about. I was actually in Crossroads last weekend.
Why don't you move to the Crossroads?
I like the Kansas side.
You just like being a visitor. You like going down there.
You know what I like? No potholes. That's what I'm a huge fan of.
No, that makes all the sense.
Have you driven down the Crossroads? It's like it's like Donkey Kong Mario Kart. You got to avoid all the bumps. No,
for sure. I just wanted to play that for you to let you know what, It's a good way for me to get prepared for the show. I get show ideas and show topics from TikTok. It's also just a great time waster. I love it. It's just my random, I'm not doing anything. I've got 10 minutes. Well, let's see what's on the TikTok today. And I wanted to share that with you. Coming up at the top of the hour, Josh Vernier is going to be on the show. A lot of Royals news. Keep it right here. So drive.
You're listening to The Drive with Carrington Harrison, the go-to show for dating advice you didn't ask for.
If you got to ask your girl to help on the bill on Valentine's Day, you've done something wrong.
On your home for Kansas City sports, 96.5, The Fan. When severe weather hits, tune in to 98.1 KMBZ for Operation Stormwatch. Brought to you by Century Roofing. Proudly voted the #1 roofing company in all of Kansas City. CenturyRoofingKC.com.
This afternoon, expect a chance of showers and thunderstorms with a high of 76.
Weather brought to you by Staples. From posters and presentations to labels and loyalty cards, Staples has all the print to boost your brand. Shop now in-store and online. Staples. That was easy.
Men, we all know how important sex is in a relationship, both for you and your partner. But erectile dysfunction ruins sex, which can often have serious impacts on your relationship as well. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if ED is a problem in your life, you understand the impacts it has on you and the one you love. But I'm here to tell you that ED is a treatable condition, and almost without exception, you can have really good sex again. At Heartland Men's Health, we're experts in treating ED. We've treated tens of thousands of men with protocols that are effective in well over 90% of cases, which means if you're like most guys, good sex will be the norm. You could even last up to an hour or more and bring a level of intimacy for you and your partner that might just astound you both. It's time to have really good sex again, so call us. Just $99 gets you blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. We have 3 offices: Overland Park, Independence, and North Kansas City.
Straight Talk Wireless presents Pickup Truck Wisdom.
If you're only good to your new friends, you're not going to have any old ones. Straight Talk gets it. That's why new and existing customers get free 5G phones on Verizon's 5G network. Pretty simple, really. You keep good people by being good people.
Find us at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Straight Talk Wireless. Straightforward. Always. Taxes and fees apply. Plan purchase required for free phone offers. Copyright 2026 Verizon.
I move mountains for a living. Literally. That means I don't carry hand lotion, and when it comes to serious heartburn, I don't mess around with anything but Rolaids. Rolaids' dual-active formula has calcium carbonate and magnesium hydroxide that relieves heartburn fast. Yeah, you heard right. 2 actives for that powerful relief. And the best part? The roll fits right here in my pocket, so I can get back to moving mountains.
Rolade spells powerful relief. Read each label. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Hi, I'm Carter. And I'm Charlie. We'd like to share a quick story about a homeowner named Jack.
Jack had a home he needed to sell fast.
And Jack thought he had it all figured out.
So Jack talked to multiple cash buyers.
Jack chose the highest offer.
But the day before closing, guess what? The buyer backed out,
leaving Jack with the moving truck all packed in the driveway and not sure what to do.
Jack learned the hard way that the highest offer isn't always the right offer.
Jack got suckered.
Make sure you aren't hung out to dry.
Call our dad at Rex Buys KC.
Our dad is local, he knows Kansas City, and he actually closes deals.
No repairs, no fees, no showings, no surprises.
Just a fair cash offer and a smooth process.
Now, don't be like Jack.
Call 816-330-6000 or visit rexbuyskc.com.
Rex Buys KC, helping people make smart choices one home at a time.
This is the story of the one. As a procurement manager for a hospital system, she keeps every facility in her network stocked and ready. That's why she counts on Grainger to be her single source for thousands of products. from disinfectants to lighting, air filters, and more. And with fast, dependable delivery, Grainger helps her keep every facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Chumba Casino brings non-stop fun straight to your screen. Anytime, anywhere. Explore hundreds of games like slots, blackjack, and instant scratch-style cards. Sign up to unlock your free welcome bonus and daily login bonuses. And enjoy your chance at exciting prizes without spending a thing. Just click, play, and enjoy the ride. Sponsored by VGW Group. No purchase necessary. See terms at ChumbaCasino.com. Must be over 21 and present in a state where it's legal to play.
Royals coverage on The Fan, sponsored by Salvation Army Kick Hunger Civic Lunch on May 7th. Get ready to kick off a summer of soccer in Kansas City while fighting hunger. Join the Salvation Army for the Kick Hunger Civic Lunch 2026 May 7th. Score big for local families in need. Grab your tickets or table today at kickhungerkc.com. That's kickhungerkc.com.
Draft coverage on 96.5 The Fan is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. From here for wherever you are. That's the benefit of blue.
Hey Kansas City, this is Cole Reagans. On your way home from the K, tune into Vern's postgame show right here on your home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan.
KFNZ FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
Let's head to the phone lines right now to be joined by Josh Vernier live from Kauffman Stadium as the Royals are getting ready for their game today against the Brewers. We'll see if Mother Nature is going to cooperate in Kansas City. Vern, how you doing today, my man?
Doing great, buddy. How are you?
Vern, it is very surprising to me that this Carter Jensen story reached TMZ. There was a headline about this on TMZ. I was wondering what was going on in the world.
It's worth a click, right? If you're outside of Kansas City, I'm interested. What's the headline? Do you have it in front of you?
I will pull it up here.
How did they make it salacious?
I'll pull it up here for you. Give me a little bit.
Because I would have clicked on it. If I'm working in any other city, I'm clicking on it.
Okay, I'll pull it up here. Give me 30 seconds. I'll pull it up. I got it here. Royals rookie Carter Jensen benched after sleeping through alarm. That was it.
Nice. Well, not nice for Carter Jensen, but hey, now he's at least going to be known maybe outside of Kansas City. Maybe it's good for his brand in the long run.
I'm not saying that this isn't a deal, right? You're a professional. You are paid to show up. You are paid to go to work. Carter Jensen is 22 years old. You and I were 22 years old. This, to me, feels like a situation where you get out of line, Vinny talks to you privately, Salvi talks to you privately, you get an in-team suspension, we don't know the amount of it, and everybody moves forward. This just doesn't feel like a big deal to me.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know. Listen, it's not as if the organization now thinks a lot less of Carter Jensen, but for a young man that plays a premium position, that opened up the season as the protector in the lineup for his idol, Salvador Perez, that type of player puts himself in position to sign one of these early contracts that we see around Major League Baseball. And I'm not saying that yesterday precludes him from ever getting that early contract that we're going to buy up your 20s and keep you right here, keep you home for the rest of the decade. But now he needs to work not just for the contract, not just for his teammates, not just to get a win whenever he's back in the lineup, but now he needs to work to erase this line of thinking, or at least this memory that everyone in this organization and all fans are going to have. Yeah, he's 22. We were all 22. I know I had a job that I really valued at 22, and I did this exact same thing. But I never was in a position like Carter Jensen. I didn't have the – well, maybe I did. I didn't think I had the opportunity of cashing in millions of dollars. I wasn't letting down millionaires and billionaires like he did yesterday. I wasn't putting my idol in a position where 8 hours after he's out there for the longest game in the pitch clock era of Royals baseball, I didn't force Salvi to get back in the lineup and go catch again, and now have him back out there tonight to catch again. Salvi, by the way, all in. Salvi understands what message is being sent. Salvi, of course, signing off on playing that game yesterday. But it's inexcusable. It's a bad look, and he let down a whole bunch of people.
I'm shocked that they even told us that this was the case, because they very easily just could have said that he had the stomach bug or the stomach flu, and they just could have hit it, and it would have stayed in house, and we never would have known. Like, I'm surprised they were transparent enough to tell us that this even happened.
And I think that reflects well on Carter as well. As the media walks into the clubhouse after the game yesterday, he's already standing at his locker ready to answer questions. So he wasn't running from it, and I would venture to guess that he was one of the reasons why they didn't make up some sort of BS excuse. And to be honest, even if the team had tried to make up an excuse as to why Jensen wasn't in that starting lineup, to me, that would have just come across as malpractice, that you're running your 36, 35-year-old catcher out there day game after a night game. So someone needed to be run over for what happened yesterday, and Jensen, understandably, and what he should have done is what he did, and that's lay down in front of that bus.
Do you think that him not playing today, do you think that's related to what happened a couple days ago?
Definitely. Yeah. Righty on the hill tonight. His OPS against lefties is 70 points higher. Again, Carter Jensen was the protector of Salvador Perez on opening day and in most of the first week's lineups. This guy's only caught one game. We are about to play the seventh game, and Salvi continues to get down there, get down behind the dish. So, yeah. Listen, Starling Marte in the lineup, Nick Lofton in the lineup. Q always likes to keep his guys fresh, but you would find a way to get the bat of Carter Jensen in there had yesterday not happened.
Right now, we're talking to Josh Vernier.
And that's terrible. See, Dot, right? This team's trying to win a division. They're 3-3, and so far the 3 losses, one of them comes down to the GM and the closer being unable to understand that he's not good enough to get outs and someone not falling on the sword. So you gave a game away there in Atlanta. Yesterday's game, Lane Thomas wasn't supposed to be in the lineup, and he came up in 2 huge spots and did not come through. Thomas was not supposed to be in the lineup. Salvi makes the back-breaking defensive mistake because he's behind the dish when he shouldn't have been back there. So you've lost 2 games, and you've given them away for stupid reasons, right? Carlos being on the roster and Carter's inability to wake up on time. Can't be giving games away when you think you're in for a full 6-month fight in this division.
It does feel good that there is this sense of urgency, and maybe you've noticed it with the post-game show, but even when I've said it, hey, these games all count the same. Yes, it's early in the season. No one is trying to bury the Royals, but the loss in April counts the same as the loss in May. Right now, it is a race to see if you can get to 85, 87, 88 wins or more. So when you give a game away like you did on Saturday, when you're not fully prepared for a game because your 22-year-old makes a mistake, all that starts to add up over time.
86, 87 might not be enough this year, especially if the White Sox stink again, because it appears the Twins will stink. If the White Sox are another, as Binkley would call them, booty call in the division, Cleveland, Detroit, and Kansas City are going to get their 15, 16, 20 wins against those 2 teams. And obviously that's good for their chances at the wild card. But if you're going to walk away with this division, if you're going to get a possible bye in the postseason, you need to beat these teams. It's not as if, you gave a game away against the Dodgers or the Yankees, and, they just have more talent than you, so it's a little bit easier to digest. No, you have more talent than Minnesota, as much talent as Atlanta, as much talent as Milwaukee beginning tonight. Can't be giving games away against teams that you're as good as, if not better.
Right now, we're talking to Josh Vernier, our Royals insider. How would you characterize the Royals bullpen right now?
Like we talked about last week, it's still, to me, the weak link on this team. And that's also a reflection of, again, a very talented team, an outstanding rotation, great team speed, I think stout defense, and when Carter Jensen's in the lineup, a pretty talented 1 through 7 in that starting 9. But yeah, Urseg, Matt Strom, I think right now you feel comfortable with those two, and then it's like it is most Aprils in most stadiums around Major League Baseball. It's a feeling out process. Just because you were good last year, as a reliever, it doesn't often carry into the next season. That's even a guy like Urseg and Strom, right? Urseg was outstanding in 2024. The strikeout numbers took a major dip last year. Now, we'll see as he continues to progress this year, but there are still question marks about him. So if I had to give you a word to describe this Royals bullpen, if I could hyphenate weak link, that's what I'll do.
The Royals have a player who is making their major league debut today. Is this Lundir? Is that how you pronounce his name? Lundir Avila?
Luwinder Avila.
Luwinder, my apologies. I messed his name up completely. I wasn't close.
That's all right. He's a World Baseball Classic champion, a part of that Team Venezuela. This is a guy that I know everybody in this building right now is hoping is the replacement for Chris Bubic in this rotation come 2027. Maybe could play a key role for this team in 26 as a starter or second half of the season. This could be your closer. This could be your 8th inning guy. He has everything you're looking for in a right-handed starting pitcher. Deception, velocity, big body dude at 6'3", $195. Yeah, he has it all. We'll see what we get from him tonight. But if there's a pitcher, who's next? It's Luwinder Avila.
Okay, all right. I just want to make sure I'm saying Luwinder Avila. All right, cool.
And he pitched 13 games last year, but all out of the bullpen. This is his first big league start.
Okay, all right. I'm happy that thank you. I appreciate all of your help. Couple more things I want to get your opinion on. First thing I want to get your opinion on, big game this weekend for Big Blue. How are you feeling going into what a lot of people are calling the national championship game?
Yeah, this is... I don't know about you, C-Dot, but it always appeared to me that it was Arizona, Michigan, and this goes back to late January. It just seemed like these two teams were on a collision course for the championship. And, yeah, I think that goes down on Saturday. I don't like the fact that Arizona opened as the favorite and now Michigan is the favorite. There's always a bunch of money thrown on Michigan, so that makes me a little nervous. But I'm excited for the game. Hopefully, we don't have a doubleheader tomorrow and I get screwed out of watching it.
I was just going to ask you, from a weather perspective, what are you hearing?
Yeah, not good. Not good. They're talking tornadoes and whatnot. So
goodness gracious.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe a doubleheader tomorrow, or I'm going to be here all night.
No, I don't want you there all night. I'll get you out of here with this. I still find these moments to be really cool. We got Connor Griffin about to make his major league debut. I saw the list of players that made their debut at 19 years old. I mean, it's really a who's who. I mean, they are telling you they think this kid is special. They think he's next.
Yeah, it's Robin Yount, it's Mike Trout, it's Bryce Harper, Alan Trammell, it's Hall of Famers. And when you see this guy, there's nothing about him that looks like he's 19 years old. He's, the body of Manny Machado and the skill set of Bobby Witt Jr. Okay, he's not as fast as Bobby, but he's Bobby Witt Jr., but even stronger. At 19, he's a little bit bigger and stronger than Bobby is right now. No, this kid's awesome. I'm really happy for the baseball fans in Pittsburgh to have him and Paul Skeens, man. We'll see what he does. I hope he brings people to that beautiful ballpark. It'd be great if they got a chance to watch a winner. But I'm with you, man. A big day in Major League Baseball, like you're saying. The next superstar is about to debut. I don't know if you can be a superstar in Pittsburgh. I don't know if people would say Paul Skeens is a true superstar, but we're about to find out.
Yeah, I'm looking at the list. So, I mean, there have been 9 players in Major League Baseball since 2000 who made their Major League debut as a teenager. Soto, Harper, Profar, Upton, or Trout, both Upton brothers, Jose Reyes, and Wilson Bettman. I mean, that's the list of players who made their debut. I mean, just an incredible
Upton brothers? I mean, brothers both doing it. You know, we fawn over the Watts and the Mannings, but to be on a list that short with your brother, That's amazing.
Yeah, no, for sure. Absolutely. That is our guy, Josh Vernier, joining us on the show today. I would say go Big Blue, but I got an Arizona bet at plus 360 for them to win the national championship. So you and I are on opposite sides.
Yeah, I understand that totally.
That is our guy, Josh Vernier, joining us on the show today. Always happy to catch up with our guy, Vern. We got a series this weekend as the Brewers are coming into town. Maybe the weather will hold up today, but I'm guessing tomorrow doubleheader. Just it feels like that's going to be the vibe here in Kansas City. All right, coming up on the other side, we'll reset the conversation about Tommy Lloyd. Tommy Lloyd, he was thinking about going to North Carolina. He is no longer going to North Carolina. He is going to end up staying at Arizona. We'll also talk about the Final Four. This is as stacked of a Final Four that you can have. We'll get to it next. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan.
Things are really heating up in the college basketball tournament, and FanDuel is giving all customers a profit boost every single game day leading up until the big championship game. Build a same-game parlay for your shot at a bigger payout, or try live betting and jump in right after tip-off. Best of all, with FanDuel, you get paid instantly when you win. So just visit FanDuel.com/local to get started. That's FanDuel.com/local to claim your first profit boost and keep the action going now until the big championship. Take advantage of FanDuel College Basketball Profit Boost to build a parlay or use it live betting right after tip-off every single game day. FanDuel, play your game. FanDuel Sportsbook is the official sportsbook of 96.5 The Fan. 21 and over and present in Missouri. Opt-in required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
And Doug. There's nowhere I wouldn't go to help someone customize and save on car insurance with Liberty Mutual, even if it means sitting front row at a comedy show.
Hey everyone, check out this guy and his bird. What is this, your first date?
Oh, no. We help people customize and save on car insurance with Liberty Mutual together. We're married. Me to a human, him to a bird.
Yeah, the bird looks out of your league anyways.
Only pay for what you need at LibertyMutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
DQ presents the Blizzard Double Flip Deal. For a limited time, when you buy one Blizzard treat, you get a second for just 99 cents. That's 2 Blizzards, 2 spoons, 2 flavors, and 2 flips. So don't miss out on the Blizzard Double Flip Deal, available only for a limited time and happening now at DQ. Because the only thing better than a Blizzard treat is a second Blizzard treat for just 99 cents. It's a deal to flip for. The Blizzard Double Flip Deal. Participation may vary.
Over time, your home's exterior takes a beating. You might notice faded colors or peeling paint. You need to call my friends at CertaPro Painters, whether you're thinking about the inside or outside of your home. Their free estimates are detailed and easy to understand, and you'll get a quote right away. Ask about their spring sales event for 10% off qualifying projects through May 15th. And remember, each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated right here in KC. Schedule your free estimate at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. Look, we all have those moments where we have to say no. No to a round of golf, no to a long walk, or even just no to getting out of the chair because your knees or your back aren't cooperating. But as we head into vacation season, think about the people waiting for you to say yes. Your family, your friends, they want the real you back, the one who isn't sidelined by chronic pain. I want to help you turn that corner. At QC Kinetics, they specialize in regenerative treatments that get you back in the game without surgery or without endless recovery months. Be honest with yourself for a second. Does joint pain keep you up at night? Are you at the end of your rope leaning on daily meds just to get through a shift at work? If you're nodding your head, you're exactly who QC Kinetics helps every single day. The best part, it's done right in their office with no downtime. So call them today for that free consultation. 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. They're located off 435 in State Line or in Gladstone. 816-412-6299.
No one likes having to choose. That's why with America's best lineup of hybrids from Hyundai, you get the best of both worlds. Like the reliable and efficient Tucson Hybrid with America's best warranty. Or the stylish yet capable Santa Fe Hybrid with power to navigate the toughest terrain. It's like having your cake and eating it too. You know, if you could drive a cake. Hybrids from Hyundai. It's the best of both worlds. Visit HyundaiUSA.com or call 562-314-4603 for more details.
I need a little rain.
There's a new flavor in town, the Jalapeno Ranch Club at Chick-fil-A. With that juicy Chick-fil-A original spicy or grilled chicken, a buttermilk ranch bun, candied bacon, pepper jack cheese, and jalapeno ranch sauce. It's got big ranch vibes with a little heat. Chick-fil-A's new Jalapeno Ranch Club. Available for a limited time only. Order ahead on the Chick-fil-A app.
Having insurance isn't the same as having State Farm. It's like needing a lawyer, but getting some guy who just watches courtroom dramas.
How does the defendant plead?
Guilty.
Wait, what?
Also, objection.
You object to what?
Erroneous.
Counsel, approach the bench.
Hey, can I get a whack at the gavel?
You wouldn't settle for just any lawyer, so don't settle for just any insurance. Get the real deal with State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
Here's your traffic report on 96.5 The Fan.
The 169 highway is closed northbound before Richards Road. Northbound 435 road work is causing delays from 23rd up to Independence Avenue. I'm Bill Brooks, 96.5 The Fan Traffic.
Hey, Kansas City, it's Bobby Witt Jr. Welcome into The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Royals baseball, 96.5 The Fan.
Coming up in about 25 minutes, we are going to play for you our conversation with Kyrus Tong. I got a chance to catch up with him earlier today. We'll play it for you coming up at 3:45. Let's reset things to talk about the top story right now in sports. The North Carolina job is still open. I would have said that Tommy Lloyd was going to be the favorite for that job. North Carolina did offer the position to Tommy Lloyd, but he made the decision that he is going to stay in Arizona.
I'm happy to announce I'm staying at Arizona. You know, we've been able to get some things done the past couple days. You know, I really appreciate, you know, President Garamella, John Arnold, and Desiree, you know, for showing a real commitment to our program. And, you know, Arizona basketball, you guys know what it means to me. And when I say it's a special place, that always comes from the bottom of my heart. You know, I didn't want to make this entire Final Four about that because I'm just a small part of something much bigger. But on that same note, I'd also like to, you know, let you know that North Carolina is an amazing place. I mean, it's a one of one. And, you know, it's an honor to even be, you know, considered for that job. And, you know, the young kid, for me, the college basketball junkie, watching those games at home, you know, never would have thought something like that could have happened to somebody like me.
That is Tommy Lloyd. He is the head coach at Arizona. He has made the decision to say no to North Carolina. From Matt Norlander, you're going to hear from him coming up here momentarily. According to sources, North Carolina offered Tommy Lloyd a top 2 contract in college basketball. Right now, the 2 highest paid coaches in the sport are Bill Self and John Calipari. Both of them make at least $8 million. So they were prepared to make an $8 million offer to Tommy Lloyd. Lloyd decided to stay, so he is taking less, but he is going to get bumped up to $7.2 million starting next season. He also looked out for his staff. They are going to get a huge bump. They're also going to get incentives to their contract structure. So when they go to the Final Four, not just the coach is getting a bonus, they're also going to add a bonus for the assistant coaches as well. I think this is noteworthy. He will also no longer report to the athletic director. This is just pure speculation on my part. I'm assuming that was one of the most important factors. The money is the money. Now, I'm not saying that $800,000 is a small amount of money, but I don't know if your quality of life is that much different at $7.2 million and making $8 million. I'm assuming your quality of life is about the same. It is about work environment. And if I really like where I currently work, but there is one major thing that I do not like, me and this person are not on the same page. We do not get along. And if you want me to continue to work here, she is no longer my superior. That seems very important to me that this was added. You very rarely see that when it comes to a contract tweet from a reporter. He will also no longer report to the athletic director. Here is Matt Norlander further explaining why Tommy Lloyd is staying in Tucson.
You know, I was told by a source that North Carolina offered, or at least verbally expressed, we are willing to make you either the highest or second highest paid coach in all of college basketball if you come to our university. Obviously, that's really tempting. Tommy was open about the idea, as you saw there on HQ. It's North Carolina. Like, there's understandable and obvious
job in the sport.
Without, and some might say number one,
Sure.
and maybe unquestionably number three, right? But ultimately, he is a West Coast guy. He grew up in Kelso, Washington, right near the Washington and Oregon State border. We know what he did all those years at Gonzaga. He's put down a foundation in Tucson, and so that he sees what's capable at Arizona. This is one of the very best jobs in the sport as well. So a part of me was a little surprised we got to today with him announcing it, but to get it out there, to get it, to remove it, it's almost the one thing that I was going to ask him, but I didn't on camera was. He was a little bit like he was intentionally non-committal, but after the fact, it's like a little bit cheeky. Like he let Arizona fans kind of have that anxiety for a bit, but all's well that ends well. They got their coach for the long haul, more than $7 million a year. He's still going to be among the 5, 6, 7 most well-compensated coaches in college basketball.
That was Matt Norlander with some more context when it comes to Tommy Lloyd. I know the Kansas job is filled right now, so this is not for today information, but this is for in the future. Rob, I think Kansas's best bet in finding the Bill Self replacement, if we are talking about the kind of current landscape that we're in college athletics, I don't think it's taking another major team's coach. I think it is doing what Arizona did and promoting an assistant, and that assistant has had great success. I think it is doing what Michigan did, where Dusty May took a small major team to the Final Four. He was hot as fish grease. We went out and signed him, and now he is having great success here. I don't know if Kansas's next coach, if it's not going to be Jock Vaughn or Jeremy Case, that's just a coach in waiting situation. But if it's going to come from outside the family, I don't know if Kansas's next coach is currently the coach at Florida. I don't know if Kansas's next coach is currently the coach at Michigan. I think Kansas's next coach is currently at UNLV. Their next coach is at VCU. Their next coach is at one of those programs. And you look at them and say, you have had so much success at that level with those resources. What if we gave you all the resources that you could imagine backed by our brand and we power you and you go out and have success? That worked for Michigan. That worked for Arizona. I think in some ways you could argue that worked for Duke as well. I think that might be the play for KU whenever that job comes open, which could very easily be sooner rather than later.
I agree. Maybe we're saying something just different. I would say the next tier is still poachable for these schools. Like, Kentucky couldn't steal, Michigan's coach. UNC couldn't steal Arizona's coach. I agree. Like, the top 15 to 20 jobs, I don't know, are bouncing around the same way we used to. Like, there was a time when Roy Williams left Kansas. Bill Self left Illinois. I don't know those things are happening the same way anymore. But, like, Kentucky got BYU's coach. I could see Kansas getting that level of coach. A guy who has coached at a high major, is in a Power 4, and has had success, and then he gets the bump up to the super high level. You might not be able to poach anymore like the way I thought you could, Arizona's guy or Michigan's guy. But there's nothing stopping you from poaching. If Maryland's coach was great, you could steal Maryland's coach. I think the difference now in college sports is we grew up in an era where if you were Alabama football, UNC basketball, everyone's a candidate always. Now, there's less candidates, but still a pretty wide pool to pick from.
Someone on the text line asked the question, CDOT, isn't the Arizona AD the same woman who used to be the AD at Missouri? Yes, the same athletic director that got ran out of town because her and Eli Drinkwitz were not on the same page. Yep, that's the same person.
She has definitely a trend. I'm sensing a trend.
Oh, 100%. I mean, that is absolutely why she is no longer the AD at Missouri. Missouri has made it very, very clear to everybody. We will pick Eli Drinkwitz above anybody here. Basketball, we do not care. We love Eli Drinkwitz. We are going to give him whatever he needs to be successful. And if you get in the way of that, we will find somebody to replace you. That is absolutely what happened at Missouri.
And sounds like, she's not fired at Arizona, but it sounds like that's what's happening there. Your most important property, men's basketball, at least at Arizona it is, their coach is just circumventing you in the hierarchy. You know those organizational charts that a lot of companies have these? Tommy Lloyd's off to the side at Arizona. I get to do my own thing. Don't talk to me. It sounds like what happened in Missouri is similarly happening at Arizona.
I could not be more excited for this Final Four than I am. I think we have two incredible matchups, to coin flick matchups. You can't get any tighter on the spread. Vegas has this as a 1.5 line on either side. So again, a coin flip. This feels a little bit to me like the NFC AFC championship game. I think most reasonable people understood that the two best teams in the NFL this year were both in the NFC, and whomever came out of the NFC championship game was ultimately going to be the Super Bowl champion. That's how things played themselves out. I feel like that's the Michigan and Arizona game. I think those are the two best teams in the country. I'm not saying I said anything truly unique, but heading into this tournament, Michigan, Duke, and Arizona, those were the clear three best teams. It took a monumental upset to get Duke out of the NCAA tournament and one of the 5 greatest shots in tournament history to eliminate them from the NCAA tournament. And those other two teams have rolled en route to the Final Four. So I'm looking at that game like on paper, this is probably the best college basketball matchup that I think we've had since that undefeated Kentucky team going up against Wisconsin. Like if I'm just saying like, I'm looking at the talent, I'm looking at how evenly I think it is, intrigue coming into the game. I think there's a lot of juice, a lot of buzz for that Michigan and Arizona game. And then you got the Illinois and UConn. UConn coming off one of the most exciting finishes in tournament history. Illinois, I mean, they're not a surprise to anybody that's been watching college basketball this year. That's been a very good team led by a point guard with an incredible story. They're recruiting a little bit differently than everybody else. I think this is an A-plus Final Four. I'm locked in. I'm sitting down. I'm watching every dribble of both games. I'm really looking forward to it.
I almost feel bad for the UConn-Illinois game because I think it's going to be a great college basketball game, but it is monumentally overshadowed on Saturday night. You said to Vern, I know he's a Michigan fan, the late game on Saturday is national title good.
For sure.
Like, you could argue that game in the Final Four is a better game before ever seeing it than some national titles we've seen. Like, there have been years where you're like, oh, the national title game is going to be a rollover. What year was it where UConn just got to thump someone? Now you're like, that's not going to be the game. That ain't it. I believe it was San Diego State. You knew, okay, they're not going to keep up. This game is going to be incredible. I don't think there's a way to oversell Arizona versus Michigan. And I understand the way brackets shake out. You never know. But the fact that these two teams are in the Final Four and not in the title game kind of stinks because I feel like whoever wins that game should win the national title game, but they might be so bloodied and beaten that you don't know.
I saw a tweet yesterday, and I wish I could remember who it was so that I could give them proper credit, but it summed up the Chiefs' most recent free agent signing, and we're going to have Kyrus Tonga on the show. He's going to be on the show at 3:45, and that's what made me think of this. The tweet was, if you get described as former first-round pick, you have been incredibly disappointing. Like, that's the only thing that we can say about you is you are a former first-round pick. So if you guys missed it, Kaiir Elam, who was drafted by the Buffalo Bills, he is now the newest member of the Kansas City Chiefs. How you would know Kaiir Elam is, I think the Bills wanted to draft Trent McDuffie. The Chiefs then jumped in front of Buffalo and got Trent McDuffie. The Bills then drafted Kaiir Elam. It obviously worked out tremendously well for Kansas City. You cannot say the same thing when it came to Kaiir Elam. He has been a disappointment in a lot of ways. But, I mean, for just what I believe they're paying him, and I haven't seen the financials, but this is a player that was a first-round pick and got released before his 4th year. This is a player who is
third team, by the way.
Yeah,
before
this is third team in 5 years. I'm assuming that this was a nothing kind of contract for going to pick up a Kaiir Elam. Taking a chance on him as a camp body, a player that you obviously scouted a lot as a rookie coming into the league. You obviously knew a lot about him. You were obviously very interested in corner, so you scouted him well. You also have played Buffalo as much as any team that's not in your division these last couple of years. The Chiefs are pretty familiar with Kaiir Elam and his ability and what he can and can't do. So if it works, great. If it doesn't work, not that big of a deal. You're not paying him anything. You're throwing bodies at a problem. If he exceeds expectations through camp, you keep him. If not, you cut him, and you don't really got to pay him a whole lot of money to go away. I don't have much issue with this. This, to me, is what this portion of free agency is. All the big-time players, They're done. And they could come back as we get a little closer to the draft or immediately after the draft once the dust settles. But if you're still available now, the NFL is not super high on your ability. You're signing for the bargain basement deal.
Isn't this the exact definition of the Veach special? You said it perfectly. I'm betting because the Chiefs ended up drafting a corner in that draft class. They had done some scouting on Kaiir Elam. I can't imagine you end up drafting Trent McDuffie and your scouting department's like, we've never even heard of Kaiir Elam. He then bounces around, fails in Buffalo, and I'd say fails in Dallas. You don't get cut before 5 years in the NFL because you're a roaring success, not at least for on the field, and you take a shot. And if it works, maybe he plays like the first-round talent he is. You trust Spags, you trust Dave Merritt. I mean, people in Kansas City trust Dave Merritt with their lives. Every time corner gets talked about,
he's got a great track record.
I'm not saying they're wrong. How many cornerback coaches in the NFL are more known than Dave Merritt? He might be more popular than some DCs across the NFL.
He's like that one strength and conditioning coach that Kansas used to have.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
That's the same.
Yeah, you guys used to love her.
Or who was that D-line coach Mizzou had during Pinkel?
Cool. Cool.
You guys loved him.
He was a dog. He was a dog, for sure. Yeah. No, everybody has that guy. No, you're 100% right. That's Dave Merritt, though. Dave Merritt does get a lot of credit. I wonder why Dave Merritt has never been offered somebody else's defensive coordinator job. I do wonder why.
That's a great question.
Because you would just think, guy played in the NFL, he's been a great assistant. It feels like a logical upgrade in pay to go be somebody's defensive coordinator, put you in line to potentially be a head coach.
Has he interviewed? I just had not seen it. He has to have interviewed for DC jobs, right? I mean, they don't get reported the same way.
I mean, you would assume he sat down with somebody, but why has he never gotten the job?
That's a great question. And it's not like Spag staff is not pumped out successes. It's just very odd.
Yeah, I know. It just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Coming up in a little bit, Kairos Tonga is going to be on the show. We'll play for you our conversation with him. Another top story is what happened yesterday. Carter Jensen overslept. He was scratched from the lineup. He's also not in the lineup today. Here's Carter yesterday telling the story.
Yeah, I mean, no running from it. Just didn't wake up to my alarm, slept through it. Don't really have an excuse, nor should I. It sucks, happens. Feel like I let teammates down, coaches down. So, just learn from it and just know it won't happen again.
That was Carter Jensen yesterday talking to the media. Here's Vinny Pasquantino giving a little OG veteran wisdom to the young gun.
Yeah, I mean, you got a 36-year-old catcher who's preparing to DH today, and then his world gets a little rocked that an hour and a half before the game, he's not going to be DHing. So, you credit to Salvi today for being ready. First and foremost, we're glad Carter's okay, right? I mean, that was kind of the initial thought when you're trying to get a hold of his parents and everything like that to just make sure everything's okay. But once you find out he's okay, it's like, all right, it's a growing moment. He's really young. There are some things that cannot happen, and that's one of them. So he's going to have to wear it on the chin, the same way anybody would have to. So it can't happen. And, hopefully it doesn't happen again. But it's one of those things that you can't afford mistakes like that in this game. So just gotta move forward the best that he can. I know he feels really bad. I know that it was not his favorite drive to the field this morning, but it wasn't our favorite morning either. Trying to figure out what was going on. So, he'll learn from it and grow up a little bit. And we're here for him though. It's not like anybody's mad at him. Things happen, but you got to learn from mistakes like that and maybe get another alarm clock or something at home.
Yeah, I don't want to come down super hard on the kid. I think what you learn over time as when you are a part of a team is your mistakes and your actions. They don't just affect you, they affect the group. That you not showing up now puts an unnecessary burden on everybody else. And if you're a good teammate, you just don't want to put your guys or your coworkers in that position. So I'm imagining that Carter feels worse about it, not of the tweets or the jokes or anything, but Salvador Perez played the night before. It was an extra all-night affair. Turn around the next day, he's now got to catch the day game. You would never put Salvador Perez in that situation. A guy who played in the WBC, a guy who, again, is in his mid-30s. You would never put him in this situation. Like, this was a really inconvenient thing for the Kansas City Royals for this to have had happen. But I'm a big believer, especially in a team setting, like this is where your veteran players have to come in, step in, and this is where we talk about leadership. This is what leadership is. This is Vinny Pasquantino. You've built that relationship up with him that you guys can have that heart-to-heart conversation, and you could tell him that you're messing up. This is where Salvador Perez, being the future Hall of Famer, this is where you sit the kid down and you have this conversation about how his actions affect everybody. This is what leadership is to me. This is what having a veteran presence is to me on the team when one of your young guns steps out of line a little bit. So I don't think this is a thing. I imagine this is not something we're going to spend a whole lot of time talking about in the future, and that this will pop up. And like most people, you made a mistake. You learn from the mistake. It doesn't come up again. That's what I expect to happen with Carter Jensen. I want to play for you guys what Vinny had to say about the incident yesterday. And noticeable, Carter Jensen is not in the lineup today for the Kansas City Royals. Earlier today, I got a chance to catch up with one of the Chiefs' newest defensive players, Kairos Tonga. We'll play that for you next. Keep it right here. So drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
Things are really heating up in the college basketball tournament. It has been a fun one. And remember, the FanDuel is giving all customers a profit boost every single game day leading up to the big championship game. You can build a same-game parlay for a shot at an even bigger payout, or try live betting. Jump in after tip-off. Best of all, with FanDuel, you get paid instantly when you win. Just remember to visit FanDuel.com/local to get started. That's FanDuel.com/local to claim your first profit boost and keep the action going from now until the championship game. The tournament has been great so far, but you can make it even better with our friends over at FanDuel. Take advantage of the FanDuel College Basketball Profit Boost to build a parlay or use it for live betting after tip-off every single game day. And remember, with FanDuel, you can play your game with America's #1 sportsbook app. FanDuel is the official sportsbook of 96.5 The Fan. 21 over in President, Missouri. Option required. Bonus is a non-withdrawal profit token which can apply, including any token expiration back wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Wouldn't you like to take a vacation from your bills? Well, you can. With credit card balances at an all-time high and Golden Oak's 4.5% rate, you could be saving thousands of dollars after a simple phone call. Call today and get your cash in as little as 14 days and make no payments for 2 months. Call 913-890-GOLD.
Golden Oak Lending cured my blues.
5.442 APR, FHA 15-year, 20% equity, qualified credit, additional terms apply. NMLS 114937.
Easter's here, and this Easter Sunday, we're going out for brunch, and we're doing that at Hy-Vee. We're skipping the hassle of reservations for an overpriced restaurant brunch, and we're going to the family-friendly buffet brunch at Hy-Vee. $19.99 for adults, $6.99 for kids 6 to 12, and kids 5 and under eat free. And they've got all-you-can-eat favorites like scrambled eggs, biscuits and gravy, sausage, bacon, hash browns, fresh fruit, and so much more. No reservation required. We'll see you from 8 to 1 this Easter at Hy-Vee Market Grill.
Hop into Hy-Vee for all your Easter needs, like baskets, candy, chocolate bunnies, and more. Treat your family to Easter brunch at the Market Grill. Just $19.99 for adults, $6.99 for children 12 and under, and kids 5 and under eat free. Staying home? Make Easter easy with Hy-Vee's pre-made meals. Choose from your favorites, like honey glazed ham, green bean casserole, and au gratin potatoes. Just heat and eat. Make this your most excellent Easter ever, only at Hy-Vee.
Did your HVAC struggle through this rough winter? When it comes to your home comfort, trust the local experts at Hamilton Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Rooter. Right now, you can save up to $2,000 on a new HVAC system with our trade-in allowance program. Over 40 years experience and more than 8,000 five-star reviews, plus our exceptional service guarantee, means you get safe, reliable service and peace of mind. Visit callhamilton.com/radio for details, terms, and conditions.
At Uline, they know going the extra mile takes hard work. For companies pushing to go further, Uline will go the distance with you. 24/7, they answer the phone to get you the shipping and industrial supplies you need. Business can move fast. Unexpected large orders, adverse weather, new safety guidelines, and changing economic trends. Uline works hard keeping 41,000 items ready to ship, minimizing detours on your way to the extra mile. Visit uline.com.
There's a difference between liking a house and actually getting it. Redfin is built to make up that difference and close the gap between finding and owning the home for you. Redfin agents close twice as many deals as other agents, so when you find a home you love, you're not a step behind when it's time to make an offer. That means less watching great homes disappear and more focus on the ones you'll actually move into and call home. Redfin helps turn saved listings into real addresses. Get started at redfin.com. Own the dream.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance tech at a university, he knows ordering from multiple suppliers takes time away from keeping their arena up and running. That's why he counts on Grainger to get everything he needs, from lighting and HVAC parts to plumbing supplies, all in one place. And with fast, dependable delivery, he's stocked and ready for the next tip-off. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Presented by Robinhood.
He crosses, spins, pulls up.
With Robinhood Prediction Markets, buy or sell your predictions all game long. No house odds, just you versus the market. Put your sports IQ to work. Trade every shot, block, steal, run, and moment that shifts the game. With Robinhood Prediction Markets, trade every play. Visit Robinhood.com/predict to start trading. Futures and cleared swaps trading involves significant risk and is not appropriate for everyone. Event contracts are offered by Robinhood Derivatives LLC, a registered futures commission merchant and swap firm.
96.5 The Fan's draft coverage is brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete, the Leavenworth PD, and the Salvation Army Civic Breakfast. Here's your traffic report on 96.5 The Fan.
Traffic brought to you by Buckner's Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing at bucknershc.com. Buckner's is better. The 169 highway is closed northbound before Richards Road. Northbound 435 road work is causing delays from 23rd up to Independence Avenue. I'm Bill Brooks, 96.5 The Fan Traffic. Don't get shortchanged on furnace and heater repairs. Buck?
Hey, it's Chris Jones from the Kansas City Chiefs. Welcome back to The Drive with C-Dot on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
Welcome into The Drive on 96.5 The Fan, 96.5thefan.com, and also the Odyssey app. We are very happy right now to be joined by Khyiris Tonga, one of the newest members of the Kansas City Chiefs. Khyiris, happy to have you on the show today.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Going back to the offseason, I guess before the offseason, why don't we just start there? What was it like to play in your first Super Bowl?
Over the moon, man. Just a super cool feeling and an amazing time for me. Yeah.
How hard is it to treat that game like every other game when it's not like every other game?
Man, it's so hard. And especially like the week leading up to it. Not like your normal games where you can practice. You guys have practice and get to go home and chill and get your mind off of things. And so that whole week you're just doing media and talking about things that's not football related and random questions, and that's kind of like all week, and you kind of have to like block that all out as soon as football comes. But it comes with it, and man, it's fun just living in the moment, being in that moment. So I enjoyed it.
Obviously, the outcome was not what you wanted, but is there a memory that you take from it, 10 years from now when your kids ask you what was it like to play in the Super Bowl, a story you're going to tell them?
For me, man, just being there. My dad's from the Bay Area, so it happened to be in his backyard, and just the fact that I was there and having to have my family there and be there, it was a super surreal moment for me. So just being there and enjoying it was probably what I'd say.
Right now, we're talking to Khyiris Tonga, one of the newest members of the Kansas City Chiefs. You were drafted back in 2021, 7th round, 250th pick. Take us through draft day for you. We see on television the guys who are the first-round picks, and there's all this fanfare. You went very late in the draft. I'm sure there was a lot of anxiety. Take us to draft day.
Yeah, definitely hoping just to hear my name called. Didn't know where I was going to fall, hoping it was going to be sooner. Day 1 went through, day 2 went through, day 3 was coming to an end, and I was actually just in my room. I ended up just going home, just hanging out at my house. My family and everyone was kind of out and about, and kind of just waiting in my mind. I was thinking just, okay, well, if I don't get my name called, just kind of figure out with my agents kind of how that process is. And crazy, get a call literally towards the end. Chicago letting me know that they're gonna draft me, and man, it was just a crazy feeling, man. But it felt like it was just perfect timing for me. It was great.
When was the point where you realized that you were going to stick in the league?
I don't know if there's a point. I think man, just being in this league, man. I've learned that you have to prove it every single year, no matter who you are, if you're paid, unpaid. So for me, man, I'm still trying to prove it. That's kind of like how I come about and coming to work, just trying to prove myself every day that I can stay around. So hopefully this year just continue to prove it and yeah.
Right now, we're talking to Kyrus Tonga, one of the newest members of the Kansas City Chiefs, just learning a little bit more about his story. Let's remove Kansas City from this question. You haven't got a chance to go to all the spots yet. You'll certainly learn. What was the best food city that you've played in so far in your career?
Food City. You know, I really enjoy some of the spots in Minnesota. Minnesota has some sleeper spots, man. I didn't expect Minnesota to have some food, but yeah, they have some good spots in Boston. Boston has some good spots as well.
That's interesting because, Chicago's known for the deep dish pizza. Atlanta's known for the wings. What is the thing that Minnesota is known for from a food aspect?
Uh, I don't know if they know for it, but there's this restaurant that we used to always go to, and I'm totally spaced. Oh, Billy Sushi. It's like a sushi spot, and man, it's probably one of the best sushi I ever had, ever. And I just thought it was really good. We used to hit that spot up a couple times actually. So
Right now, we're talking to Kyrus Tonga here for a few minutes, learning a little bit more about him. You went to college at BYU. You served a 2-year mission. What was the thing you learned most about yourself during those 2 years?
I think the thing I learned about myself was how much I really didn't know. I think going on my mission, I really learned to just to love others and to treat others like like I've known them my whole life. So I think that's something that I carried on learning from my mission, just to always treat others right. And I think for me, it's just learning to be selfless. For 2 years, you're out trying to just be Christ-like, and you just learn to be selfless. You take like these 18-year-old kids at their most selfish times in their life, where they're trying to find out who they are, and you go out and you just learn to be selfless for 2 years. So for me, just trying to be more selfless was probably like the thing I learned the most.
Right now, we're talking to Kyrus Tonga here for a couple more minutes. What was the process like during free agency where you're trying to decide how involved was Kansas City in this? How many other teams were there? What ultimately led you to pick Kansas City?
Um, yeah, yeah, it was a fun one. It was a crazy day, and um, yeah, it started off really early. Agents calling me. Kansas City was uh was closing in on the deal with me, and I was thinking I was going back to New England. So the fact that Kansas City came in and we got to talk, it was great. My agent didn't tell me too much about who was in the runs, but it doesn't even matter because Kansas City was a perfect spot for me, and I'm so glad and excited to be there.
Last couple of things here. We'll go rapid fire to learn a little bit more about you. What's your favorite movie?
Ooh, favorite movie? 50 First Dates.
That's a good one. That's a good first movie. We were talking about this week on the show. What is something physically that you can't do? I'll give you some examples for me. I cannot fall asleep on the plane. I have tried and tried and tried. I cannot do it. I also can't blow a bubble. Like if you gave me gum, I've tried my whole life. I have no ability to be able to do it. What is something physically that you can't do?
I can't. Man, I've been trying. I can't whistle with my feet, like the loud whistles that people do. Um, what they like put like two fingers or whatever, and they just blow whistles just super loud. Like I would hope I could do that, and I've been trying to, and I've been trying to learn, and I just literally can't do it. So yeah, that's one thing.
My producer, he also was one of those people that can't whistle. I've never tried to whistle with my fingers. Like, I can just whistle enough, like regular. So I just never thought I needed to whistle at anybody that way.
Yeah, I have a little daughter, so I feel like that would really get her attention. You know what I mean? Just whistle super loud, and she'll know where I'm at always. I don't know if you think about stuff like that.
What is your daughter's favorite show?
Oh my gosh, she big on but she big on any princess stuff. She loves any Disney princess. She loves K-pop Demon Hunters. I'm starting to learn a lot about that. She is a big fan of Bluey. Yeah, we like them all over here.
I was just going to say, like, I wish I loved anything as much as like a 3 or 4 year old loves Bluey. Like, I don't know what Bluey is doing. I don't know what kind of hold he has over these kids, but they swear by Bluey.
My daughter can watch that forever, man. It's crazy.
That is Kyrus Tonga joining us on the show today. He is one of the newest members of the Kansas City Chiefs. Certainly looking excited to catch him as the season gets going. Kyrus, man, it was great catching up with you, man. Happy that you're here in Kansas City, man. We'll catch up with you once the season gets here.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, Carrington, for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. That is one of the newest members of the Chiefs, Kyrus Tonga. Speaking of the Chiefs, we got some breaking news.
The Drive. First to breaking news in Kansas City.
We'll talk about this more coming up, but I wanted to update you guys. The NFL concluded today that Chiefs wide receiver Rashee Rice has not engaged in any conduct that would violate the personal conduct policy, and the investigation into accusations from his former girlfriend is now closed. There will be no discipline at this time. A statement from his attorney, Sean Lindsay, quote, Mr. Rice wants to thank the NFL for their thorough investigation and looks forward to the start of the 2026-2027 NFL season. So if you were worried about a Rashee Rice suspension, that is off the table for now. The NFL has concluded that no violation of the personal conduct policy has happened. We'll react to this more coming up on the other side. Keep it right here for this breaking news. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison and Rob Brenton.
You losers! It's what you are!
On your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan. Here's your traffic report on 96.5 The Fan.
Traffic brought to you by Buckner's Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing at bucknershc.com. Buckner's is better. The 169 highway is closed northbound before Richards Road. Northbound 435 road work is causing delays from 23rd up to Independence Avenue. I'm Bill Brooks, 96.5 The Fan Traffic. Don't get shortchanged on furnace and heater repairs. Buckner's Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing will provide a free second opinion, and they've been KC's best since 1983. Don't overpay. Get your free expert furnace evaluation at bucknershc.com. That's bucknershc.com.
Well, it's Carrington Harrison from The Drive here. Let me ask you a couple of questions. Do you have poor sleep? What about low energy? How about brain fog, a reduced sex drive, weight gain, and workouts that just don't deliver like they used to? Well, the problem could be low testosterone. And the truth is, those testosterone levels can start declining as early as your 30s, 2 or 3% every single year. And before you know it, you just don't feel like the same man you did back in the day. Well, you don't have to accept this as just aging. Heartland Men's Health specializes in customized testosterone therapy and targeted body composition plans. You might think you have low T. Well, pick up the phone and call this number, 844-447-6600, or check out the website and take this simple 10-question quiz. Visit heartlandmenshealth.com. Your initial visit is just $100, includes a medical consultation, a PSA test, and lab results in about 30 minutes, and your treatment can start that day. 3 locations, Overland Park, Independence, North Kansas City. There's no need to wait. Go stop by and see my friends over at Heartland Men's Health.
Featured therapies are compounded and have not been evaluated nor approved by the FDA. Provider prescription required. See website for details.
Royals coverage is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City.
Brought to you by Blue KC is the Coaches with Character program. Do you know a rock star high school coach in your district? Nominate them for the Blue KC Coaches with Character program at bluekc.com/nominate coaches with character. Let's make our coaches feel special and make our community a better place to live, work, and play.
Straight Talk Wireless presents Pickup Truck Wisdom.
The smartest way to spend your money is not to.
Straight Talk offers free 5G phones for new and existing customers on Verizon's 5G network. So the refund money I don't spend on that free phone is the refund money I get to keep for my family. Smart.
Find us at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Straight Talk Wireless. Straightforward. Always. Taxes and fees apply. Plan purchase required for free phone offers. Copyright 2026 Verizon.
There's a difference between liking a house and actually getting it. Redfin is built to make up that difference and close the gap between finding and owning the home for you. Redfin agents close twice as many deals as other agents, so when you find a home you love, you're not a step behind when it's time to make an offer. That means less watching great homes disappear and more focus on the ones you'll actually move into and call home. Redfin helps turn saved listings into real addresses. Get started at redfin.com. Own the dream.
Spring is here, and as the weather heats up, the sports action heats up at Circa Sports. From baseball to basketball to hockey, Circa Sports has it all. Circa Sports isn't just sports betting, it's sports betting the way it should be. High betting limits, player-friendly pricing, and exceptional customer service. Whether you're looking for playoff futures or props on your favorite players and more, Circa Sports has you covered. And don't miss out on the special Royals props for every game. Download Circa Sports app or visit circasports.com today. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLE.
Just hearing the word IRS can make people break out in a cold sweat. No one wants to deal with the IRS, and now you don't have to. The good news is Legal Tax Defense has been successfully negotiating with the IRS for more than 15 years. It doesn't matter how much you owe, whether it's $5,000 or $5 million. You deserve the best in the business on your side, and that is Legal Tax Defense. Even if you're working with someone else and just want a second opinion, there is no cost or obligation to call. They can prevent levies, liens, wage garnishments, even file back tax returns. And the best news about Legal Tax Defense is they won't take your case unless they know they will reduce or eliminate your tax debt. Call Legal Tax Defense right now for a free no-risk consultation. 800-284-1238. 800-284-1238. You have nothing to lose, but everything to gain. 800-284-1238.
Royals coverage on The Fan, sponsored by Salvation Army Kick Hunger Civic Lunch on May 7th. Get ready to kick off a summer of soccer in Kansas City while fighting hunger. Join the Salvation Army for the Kick Hunger Civic Lunch 2026 May 7th. Score big for local families in need. Grab your tickets or table today at kickhungerkc.com. That's kickhungerkc.com.
Hey Royals fans, it's Seth Lugo. Don't miss Vern's on Deck show 1 hour before first pitch right here on 96.5 The Fan.
KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station. The Drive. First to breaking news in Kansas City.
Let me read to you the most recent tweet from Adam Schefter. The NFL concluded today that Chiefs wide receiver Rashee Rice has not engaged in any conduct that violates the personal conduct policy, and the investigation into accusations from his former girlfriend is now closed. There will be no discipline at this time. This is a statement from Rashee Rice's attorney. His name is Sean Lindsay. Quote, Mr. Rice wants to thank the NFL for their thorough investigation and looks forward to the start of the 2026-2027 NFL season. That is Adam Schefter. Now, before we get into commentary about this, the moment that I got this information, if I'm Brett Veach, I'm getting Coach Andy Reid on the phone. I am getting Eric Bieniemy on the phone, and we're going to have a Zoom meeting with Rashee Rice and his attorney. And you know what we are all telling them? We are thankful that this happened. We don't want to see you in the news for anything from now until we get to St. Joe. You had your one headline of the offseason. I don't want to wake up and turn on TMZ or turn on Shade Room or whatever social media blog that's out there. I do not want to go on there and I want to see your name pop up in anything. That needs to be a message that needs to be delivered immediately to Rashee Rice. Now, I don't want to pat myself on the back for this, but this always seems so obvious from the very, very beginning. I understand that we live in a society, and now with social media, when something happens, you immediately want something to happen. But this was always the correct way to play this for the Chiefs. And I said this. And Rob, I was very confused at why there was so much pushback. It felt like everybody was cut him. You got to get rid of him. But why? There was no games. Let's let the situation play itself out, and then we can make a determination on what you can possibly do. This situation was a 2-3 day story. It has been very under the radar. It's not like every day you turn on ESPN, they're talking about what's going on with Rashee Rice. The NFL, behind closed doors, was doing their own investigation. They have now come back to you with the conclusion of that. Hey, we are not suspending him from this. Now, I want to know what all goes into this thorough investigation. I think one question that eventually needs to be asked that we will probably never get the answer to is, how much did his girlfriend participate in this investigation? Did she sit down with the National Football League? Did she have a conversation with Roger Goodell? Or was she fine to just quite simply walk away? So I don't know if we'll ever get the answer to that, but that seems very, very vital in finding out the thorough investigation part. A person made an accusation against an NFL player. Did you communicate with that person? Was that person forthcoming in sitting down with you, or did that person refuse to sit down with you? The NFL is not the police. They can't subpoena you. You are not required or obligated to sit down with Roger Goodell and be a part of their investigation. So it's possible that the bag got dropped off. She now doesn't want to move forward with the investigation. The NFL can't really do anything. It's a social media accusation, and then that is the end of it. So there's a possibility that any of that happened. I want to knock on wood. I even got a trade proposal here. I'm prepared to talk about Rashee Rice for this 4 o'clock hour. There cannot be anything else with Rashee Rice. For the last 18 months, all we have discussed when it comes to Rashee Rice is you either coming back from an injury or some off-the-field mess that you created. Whether it was this accusation with the mother of your children, whether it was the incident in Dallas, the photograph incident with the photographer, whether it was the car accident, whatever it is, we have spent very little time over the last year and a half talking about Rashee Rice in this offense, what he can do and what his ceiling potentially is. So in theory, today is the last day that we need to be discussing this off the field incident. The NFL is telling you they're not going to do anything. Now, I'm not here advocating to run out and give Rashee Rice any money. No, you're playing under this rookie deal. There is no negotiation to be had. Play out this rookie contract and we'll see what it looks like on the back end. But for the first time in a while, heading into the meat of the offseason, there should be no off-the-field cloud over Rashee Rice. There is also no injury cloud over him. You have your wide receiver one in theory. Now, how does this affect the NFL draft? Does it make you more or less likely to attack wide receiver at the 9th overall pick? This would have no bearing on me because I don't know if Rashee Rice is going to be on the team in 2027. I feel pretty confident he's going to be on the team in 2026. I do not know if he's going to be on the team in 2027. I don't want to make light of what happened or what possibly could have happened with Rashee Rice and the mother of his kids. But from a football perspective, this was handled perfectly by the Kansas City Chiefs. They released a very vague statement. They will probably give us no statement ever when it comes to this. You guys will not want a statement from the Chiefs. I've done this long enough. Why are you beating a dead horse? Why are you talking about this? We will never get any answers about what happened with Rashee Rice. They will never speak on it. It will never be spoken on again, and they will get back to football and trying to have him go out and ball out this season. It is in everybody's best interest if that's what Rashee Rice does this season. He stays out of the news. He keeps his head down. He comes out, and he has a true, legitimate wide receiver one kind of year. I will say this. The excuses are done with Rashee Rice. I don't want to hear it anymore. So if you're one of the people that have been holding on to, well, if he can stay healthy or stay out of trouble, he can be a top 15 guy. He's going to be healthy. There's no suspension hanging over his head. Contract year. They got a running game. The excuses to me are done with Rashee Rice. You are entering the prime of your career. Now's the time for you to go ball out and prove that you're a top 15 guy. And maybe that money doesn't come from Kansas City, but that money, there's 31 other teams in the NFL. If you go ball out this year and put together 60 catches for 1,100 yards and 8 touchdowns, somebody is giving you a contract. You are not signing a prove-it deal at 26 years old. No. Now, you might not get the big-time heavy bag, but somebody will give you a multiple-year deal if you go ball out. And I'm guessing financially, you could use that money.
it is worth noting this is the NFL's investigation. The civil case between he and the mother of his children is still ongoing, to my knowledge. Correct? That is.
Yeah, but that has nothing to do with the NFL.
Correct. He can't be suspended for that,
Yeah.
but it's not like he's out of the woods. Such a terrible term. He's not done having to deal with the ramifications of his alleged actions in this situation. So he might be in the news again this year as this investigation drags on, but it is not going to affect him on the football field. I also think
I don't care about that. I mean, I know that sounds terrible. That sounds harsh. His personal issue with the civil matter when it comes to the mother of his kids, hey, that's for y'all to figure out. That ain't me. That ain't my place to discuss. That ain't got nothing to do with me. Like, I'm guessing you're going to pay her something. I'm just going to go out on that limb, and I'm just guessing you're going to end up paying her something. She got 2 of your kids, and she says you've been hitting on her. So I'm just assuming you're paying her something. But now, at least for our job, for what we do, that is no longer any of my business. Your civil suit has nothing to do with your ability to play football. So handle your business. Go do your 30 days, whatever you need to do. Let's show up at St. Joe in the best shape of your life, ready to ball out and ready to meet all expectations. Because we have talked about Rashee Rice for the last 2 years as this potential number one when he's healthy, get right. I don't want to hear it this year. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it with him. I don't want to hear it with Xavier Worthy. You got the offensive coordinator everybody told me they wanted. They got a run game this year. I don't want to hear it when it comes to those two individuals this year. You got the wide receiver coach that is this wide receiver whisperer. If there is wide receiver one in Rashee Rice, we should see it this year. Whatever we think the ceiling is for Xavier Worthy in this offense, we should see it this year with him. The excuses are done to me when it comes with those two individuals. I'm over it.
I agree 100%. I don't think he's going to reach the expectations, and I don't think he's going to get a second contract in Kansas City. I don't think as far as his long-term future in Kansas City, anything changed today. I think the Chiefs were always going to be a one and done with his rookie contract. Just too much other stuff. And
if he could just be the guy, like, let's just say that he is what he was last year and you double it. He made 8 starts last year. He had 53 catches for 571 yards and 5 touchdowns. Let's say you double it. So you give him 106 catches for a little over 1,000 yards and 10 touchdowns. I'll take that. That gets him paid next season. I don't know if it gets him paid by Kansas City. He probably still hits free agency, but he is not signing the 1-year Hollywood Brown deal if that's the kind of season that he puts together. He had a very productive rookie year. He was having a very solid start to his second year before the injury happened. Now, let's see if he can stay healthy this year. Let's see if he can keep his head down and stay out of trouble. That has been an issue with Rashee Rice, but it is not outside the realm of possibility that he puts it together in year 4, especially when you're motivated financially to go out there and do it. We see guys put it together in their franchise year all the time. Alec Pierce just put it together. Alec Pierce is a very above average wide receiver. He finally put it together, I would say completely, heading into that last year, and there was a team silly enough to pay him like he was a top 10 guy.
You say just double what he did last year. Is there any evidence in his Football Reference page that he can just do that? Like, yeah, he was good his rookie year when they force-fed him the football. His second year, he started.
What reason they can't force feed on the ball this year? I'm just saying.
Haven't you been telling me this run game's going to just change everything? You can't force feed him if you're also running the ball at this level.
Yes, teams run the football and have 1,000-yard receivers, Rob. I don't know why we're acting like they can run the football and they can throw the ball to him.
A 1,000-yard receiver and force feeding him the football are two very different things.
I mean, in year 1, he had 102 targets and had 938 yards. I mean, that's not probably top 15 in the league. So are we saying if he can stay healthy? I mean, hell, last year, Rob, in 8 games last year, he had 78 targets last year. So if you end up doubling that gives him, 156? Look at that math on top of my head. I'm a scholar. Now, I don't think he gets 156 targets next year.
No chance he gets to 156.
What if he gets to 125 next year?
Let me ask you this question. This is maybe part of where I'm coming from. Do you think he's going to have more targets than Travis Kelce?
He should, yes, absolutely.
Should. It's a different answer than will he. Well, will he have more targets than Travis Kelce?
If he is healthy, yes. I cannot predict if he is going to get injured.
That's
fair.
But
if he is healthy this year, there is absolutely no reason for you to Travis Kelce is 11 years older than Rashee Rice. There is no reason in this offense for you to throw the ball to 37-year-old coming off his honeymoon last year, just trying to win one. There's no reason for you to do that.
You say that, but every year of Rashee Rice's career, and I bet, you know what? I'll pull the game logs. Who do you think had more targets in those final 8 games of the season that Rashee Rice was playing? Do you think it was Travis Kelce or him? 36-year-old Travis.
I'm going to guess Rice had more. That's what I would guess.
I'm betting Travis Kelce had more targets in the games. I'll pull the numbers, but I'm betting Travis Kelce. I know he had more targets the first 2 years, but I'm curious those 8 games who had more targets, Rice or Kelce. Because it wasn't like in those 8 games, Travis Kelce was 23-year-old Travis Kelce.
So I threw the number out there. How many targets would you guess that he has next season? Just if we're throwing out a number. Because in 8 games last year, he had 78 targets last year. So if you double it, that's 156. How many targets do you think that he'll have next season based off that number? Because let's say that he gets to let's be conservative and give him 125. That's basically what Courtland Sutton got last year. Courtland Sutton had 124 targets. Courtland Sutton last year had 74 catches for 124 targets. So 74 catches, 1,017 yards, and 7 touchdowns. I'll take that from Rashee Rice next year. Sign me up for that right now. If you're telling me that's what he ends up doing. If he has 125 targets and he turns out to be Courtland Sutton, great. I don't consider Courtland Sutton to be a top 10 guy in the league. I don't think Courtland Sutton's a top 15 guy in the league. But I think he's a very productive wide receiver that you can win with. So I'll take that from the Chiefs next year. Courtland Sutton was 13th in yards last year among receivers in the National Football League. So I that's where I am. We can take phone calls on this, 913-586-7965. I even have a trade proposal I would throw out there. Some of you just might want to get out of the Rashee Rice business. I mean, you can get out of the Rashee Rice business if you want to now. If there's no suspension over his head and he is healthy, if you want to get out of the Rashee Rice game, you can get out of the Rashee Rice game right now if you're the Kansas City Chiefs. I'll throw a trade proposal out there. We'll take your phone calls. If you missed it, Rashee Rice is not going to be suspended, at least not based off the Instagram incident from earlier. Hopefully he doesn't get in any more trouble. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan.
I hope you're sitting down. The ACA Marketplace has announced significant increases on monthly premiums with deductibles over $10,000. You can enroll with Matt B. and KC at BBS Insurance's Freedom of Choice plan now. You don't have to wait. Their plan lets you use any doctor, has 0 outpatient deductibles, and it's 30 to 60% lower costs than most Obamacare plans. Also, there's no income disclosure required, so no potential tax penalties. If you are a small business owner or pay for your own health insurance, you're uninsured, you're on COBRA, or your employer coverage is just too expensive. Call Matt B. and KC for an instant quote over the phone at 816-205-4664. That's 816-205-4664. Or go to bbsinsurance.net. That's bbsinsurance.net. They will customize a plan chosen and managed by you, not the government.
Things are really heating up in the college basketball tournament. It has been a fun one. And remember, the FanDuel is giving all customers a profit boost every single game day leading up to the big championship game. You can build a same-game parlay for a shot at an even bigger payout, or try live betting. Jump in after tip-off. Best of all, with FanDuel, you get paid instantly when you win. Just remember to visit FanDuel.com/local to get started. That's FanDuel.com/local to claim your first profit boost and keep the action going from now until the championship game. The tournament has been great so far, but you can make it even better with our friends over at FanDuel. Take advantage of the FanDuel College Basketball Profit Boost to build a parlay, or use it for live betting after tip-off every single game day. And remember, with FanDuel, you can play your game with America's #1 sportsbook app. FanDuel is the official sportsbook of 96.5 The Fan. 21 over in President, Missouri. Opt-in required. Bonus is a non-withdrawal profit restriction can apply, including any token expiration back wager amounts. You turn to sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
What if you could have the most reliable Wi-Fi? And get this, what if you could keep it at the same price for 5 years? That's the Xfinity 5-year price guarantee.
Just 5 years of fiber-powered Wi-Fi that boosts speeds to the devices that need them most.
That finds and fixes problems before you even notice them. Like super intelligent Wi-Fi with a 6th sense. And that keeps you gaming in the fast lane, even when the whole family's banking on bandwidth. And here's the best part. No annual contracts, no hidden fees, and our best equipment included.
Plus, get online in minutes with same-day Wi-Fi.
Hey, let's face it, a lot can change in 5 years. Kids grow taller, dreams grow bigger, but your Wi-Fi? It would stay reliable and the price would stay put. The Xfinity 5-year price guarantee. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities. Xfinity, imagine that.
Select plans only. Restrictions apply. Powered by fiber. Connected to the premises by coaxial cable. Actual speeds vary.
T-Mobile has an exclusive bundle for customers 55 and up.
I'm Sarah Bowl.
Yeah, I'm Frank Bowl.
A reliable network is key for us. And with T-Mobile, it's been wonderful. And going to the 55 plus plan saved us so much money.
A lot.
And that's important. Trying to keep costs down. The home internet's been perfect. It's fast, it's quick. The setup was so easy, it took less than 15 minutes.
It was like, ta-da! If you want simplicity, coverage, reliability, you want the whole package, T-Mobile has it. Right now, T-Mobile customers 55 and up can get 2 phone lines on America's best network, plus America's fastest 5G home internet for just $30 each.
$30 per month each line with autopay plus taxes and fees. Minimum age 55. Pricing for home internet rely on 2 lines of essentials. Choice 55. $35 connection charge per line required. Best mobile network and fastest 5G home internet based on analysis by Ookla of Speed Test Intelligence Data 2H 2025. All rights reserved.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this. Here's your traffic report on 96.5 The Fan.
There's mudjacking work scheduled overnight along I-70. Watch out. Also, lane closures and ramp restrictions near 57th Street. Reduced lanes in Johnson County, Renner Road, and Shawnee Mission Parkway. No wrecks to report right now. I'm Bill Brooks, 96.5 The Fan Traffic.
Hey, it's George Karlaftis from the Kansas City Chiefs. Welcome to the Drive with CDOT on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
All right, we're talking about Rashee Rice. I want to read this to you again in case you missed it. We also got some breaking news regarding the president and an executive order. I'll read this to you really quickly. Protecting the future of college sports before it's too late. This is on the White House official website. Today, the president signed an exclusive order to preserve the unique American institution of college athletics by restoring order, fairness, and stability. The order directs the federal agencies to bolster the effectiveness of key college sports rules on transferring eligibility, pay for play, by evaluating whether violations of such rules render a university unfit for federal grants and contracts. It also goes on to say that they want to establish clear and consistent and fair eligibility limits, including a 5-year participation window, setting structured transfer rules for academic and athletic continuity, securing medical care for students, implementing revenue share in a manner that protects and expands opportunities in women's and Olympic sports. And that word is continuity. I completely messed that up. And banning improper financial arrangement, including pay-for-play agreements facilitated by collectives and similar entities. So, I mean, the White House is trying to attack a lot of the questions that people have about college athletics. Now, we'll see how this holds up in court, because it will absolutely be challenged in court. But just to let you know that the president today signed an executive order on, these are basically all the things that people complain about when it comes to college sports. A 5-year window.
It's 5 for 5, right?
You can play 5 for 5. You got 5 years to play college athletics. They want structured transfer rules, medical care for students, which I don't know why anybody would be not in favor of them getting medical care, and revenue share for women's and Olympic sports. These are a lot of the things that people say that they want. Now, let's see if these things legally hold up, because I think what is very important to note that a lot of the things that people are complaining about and blaming on the NCAA also challenges these things. They just lose in court because the students are not employees of the university. So this is not the end of it, but certainly worth noting.
I'm checking the Cliff Notes versions across social media right now. Basically, athletes will have one free undergraduate transfer, and then they're done, I believe is what On3 is reporting as part of the executive order. They do get one free transfer as an undergraduate. So Flory Badunga, I'll use that as the example, could in theory transfer without penalty because he would be able to play 5 and 5. But it is a lot of cleaning. It's a lot of cleaning up is the executive order of what people don't like about college athletics. I don't know if the president has jurisdiction over the NCAA in college athletics, but to your point about we'll see you in court, but for now, he is at least trying to fix a lot of the problems people don't seem to like.
Yeah, so I'm just looking at this is the tweet from Dan Wetzel of Yahoo Sports. The president has signed a 74-page exclusive order dealing with college athletics. This will not go in effect until August 1st. This should spur continued debate, but will be legally challenged on multiple fronts, and then gave you the key points that I just gave you guys. So just wanted to pass that information. All right, let's get back to Rashee Rice. I feel like now I am on the other side of this thing, which is just, I feel like this year I just been living in a bizarre world. Normally, I'm the one, it's very odd to me. So we were talking about Rashee Rice. Now, it feels like when everybody was super high on Rashee Rice, I was kind of the one saying, let's temper the expectations. Now that there is no suspension cloud over him, I think now we are somewhat underselling Rashee Rice. So a couple of texts that we got. CDOT, I would expect total overall Chiefs targets will be down significantly with Kenneth Walker. Somebody else said, I expect the Chiefs to diversify. Worthy, Kelsey, Jalen Royals, and whoever they draft along with Walker. I think targets drop. Yeah, I'm not buying that, honestly, when it comes to it. I'm looking at Seattle last year. How many attempts do you think that Sam Darnold had last year? Just how many pass attempts do you think that he had? He had 477 last year. So they threw it a lot. And to give you an idea, the Chiefs threw it 502 times to Patrick Mahomes. Also important to note that Patrick Mahomes didn't play the final 3 games of the season because of the injury. I mean, I'm looking at the attempts for Patrick Mahomes over the last handful of years. I mean, even back when the offense was humming and they could run the football, in 2018, 580. In 2019, only played in 14 games, 480. In 2020, 588. In 2021, 658. In 2022, 648. I know the Chiefs got Kenneth Walker. They're still throwing the ball a lot in this offense. Also, important to note, there were 38 players last year in the National Football League that had 100 targets. I would guess if Rashee Rice is healthy, he will be one of those players that has 100 targets. So if he gets 100 targets, which let's point out, he has never gotten in his career, if he gets 100 targets next year, I don't know why you wouldn't expect him to get to 1,000 yards. If he has less than 10 yards a catch, something went terribly wrong with this offense if your number one receiver doesn't do that consistently.
I guess now, maybe I've also flip-flopped. I don't know. I feel like I've been steadfast. I'm still thinking, is Rashee Rice 100 target guy? Because you say, like, if you play 17 games,
threw it to him 78 times in 8 games last year. In 8 games, he got 78 targets. Yes, they view it. Doesn't matter how you or I view him. They view him as a high volume passing player. So if we are removing his rookie year, his last 12 games in a Chiefs uniform, he has gotten 107 targets in his last 12 games. They think he's a number one wide receiver. Your number one wide receiver does not get 85 targets. He gets 120-something targets if that ends up being the case. If he has that kind of output and they're using him in that way, you accidentally get 1,000 yards in this offense. If you just continue to be the same player that you've been, averaging 11.5 yards per catch, you end up accidentally having 1,000 yards.
You said it perfectly. They view him like a number one wideout, and their target share for him shows that. I just don't view him that way. And I'm also curious, you're right, the Chiefs are going to throw the ball 600 times this year. Like, that's just what the Chiefs do. It's just who they are. It's how they operate. I'm not even going to get into the whole Kenneth Walker thing. They could have Marcus Allen in his prime back there, and they would still throw the ball 600 times.
Which they should.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Does this change how you view the draft at 9? Because you were big go get a weapon guy. Go get a weapon. You were talking about Carnell Tate.
No, this does not change it for me.
You're still wide receiver at 9.
Yes. You still don't have a long-term future at the position. I mean, I know that I've been arguing devil advocate when it comes to right tackle. What's their plan in 2027? What's their plan? Because their plan cannot include investing heavily in Rashee Rice. That sounds like a terrible plan. I'm not convinced that Xavier Worthy is a good wide receiver. I'm not convinced yet. I know we're blaming last year, everything on the injury. He ain't really shown me a whole lot. He hasn't really been a big down the field kind of guy. Nobody thinks he's a crisp route runner. He still struggles with just simple field vision and field IQ and just football know-how. I'm not entirely convinced that Xavier Worthy is the option. We can say Jalen Royals' names, and I get it because they drafted him. It's important to note they threw the ball to Jalen Royals 3 times last year. They had 3 preseason games to end the season. They didn't like him enough to even play him in those games. They played all the other rookies in those games. Noah Williams got to go on the field, do whatever you want the final 3 games of the year. Christian Fulton could not play when the games mattered. And then when the games didn't matter, Christian Fulton was on the field like he was Nnamdi Asomugha. Jalen Royals couldn't get on the field in the preseason games. I'm not counting on Jalen Royals heading into next year. So yes, this does not change anything for me. If you love Carnell Tate and he's there, draft him. If you love Mekhi Lemon and he's there, draft him. If you love Jordan Tyson, draft him. This Rice possible suspension or not suspension, no, it does not change anything for me based on what they need to do at wide receiver.
I 1,000% agree. And I know you have been arguing devil's advocate at tackle. I know that's not your actual stance. But if Rashee Rice being not suspended or not being suspended, whatever the proper grammar is there, changes how they view number 9, and Carnell Tate, let's pick a name, is on the board, and so Spencer Fano, and they go Spencer Fano, I'm going to be upset because you're right. They do not have a long-term plan at wide receiver. I don't believe Rashee Rice is part of the long-term plan. Maybe the Chiefs view it differently. I just can't imagine part of the long-term plan. Xavier Worthy is a guy where we're right now questioning if his fifth-year option should get picked up, and me and you are not as high on Tyquan Thornton as apparently some people on the text line. I would be 100% pro wide receiver at 9, but I'm wondering if the Chiefs now have changed their philosophy at 9 because of the Rashee Rice news.
No, I think this is a fair question. Someone asked on the text line, C-Dot, do you think any of those 3 guys are number 1 wide receivers? The experts don't seem to think so. I agree that the future looks a little bleak at wide receiver, but there isn't that guy in this draft. I would argue that is the case at any position we are talking about. I know everybody loves Ruben Bain. We've had Daniel Jeremiah on the show. We've had draft people. They don't see him as a high-volume, double-digit sack guy. They think he's George Karlaftis, it sounds like to me. Would you draft George Karlaftis with the 9th overall pick? A lot of people, I think, would say no if that's the case. So I think that's the question. At tackle, there isn't that John Alt. There isn't that Rashawn Slater or Tristan Wirfs. Very obvious pick. I would say at corner, I would say Delane. Everybody loves Delane. He doesn't sound like he's a Sauce Gardner, Patrick Surtain, just can't miss prospects. So, I mean, some of that is just this isn't a great draft class if you're looking for those kind of high-end guys. Now, if you want to talk to me about trading down out of 9 and picking up more draft picks, I'm not against that probability. But I would take a good player. I think Carnell Tate has a chance of being a good player.
I also say, and I apologize for interrupting,
no, you're good.
Not to argue with the text line, because it's just a fruitless endeavor. We've talked to a lot of football people on the show. They seem to think Carnell Tate is that person.
They do seem to like him.
You're hesitant of Carnell Tate, and I understand the hesitation. But the Matt Miller types, they talk about Carnell Tate like he's that dude. And
I think he can be a good player. I hesitate on thinking that because so many of the other Ohio State wide receivers have been stars, that he will be a star when he didn't shine very brightly to me in college. Like Egbuka did. JSN did in college. Those guys were college stars. I don't think that's what Carnell Tate was. I think he was a good receiver last year at Ohio State. I think he was a solid receiver. But I will say, based on what everyone says about him, he does seem to have skill sets that they don't really seem to have. They don't really seem to have a lot of guys that can create separation. They don't really have a lot of guys that you think run crisp routes and can get open. That is not who Xavier Worthy is. Xavier Worthy is a speedster, down the field kind of guy, even though he struggles to catch the deep ball.
Rashee Rice is kind of, he's not the deep threat guy, but he's like the intermediate route guy. They don't have I hate using it. They don't have a DeAndre Hopkins. They don't have that guy on their team right now.
Yeah, I would say that Rashee Rice is very similar to like a Deebo Samuel.
Yeah.
Creativity, move him around the field, try to get him in space, yard after catch kind of guy.
That's right. They don't have how Binky's always talking about that physical, like get the tough first down, gritty wide. They don't have that. We had Lance Zerline on the show earlier this week. He said Denzel Boston's a guy they could use, but the cuts in the folder somewhere. They need an X, a big, strong guy who can go win a one-on-one matchup. That would be Carnell Tate if he's available. So I would agree with you. I hope this doesn't change their opinion, but if it does, I will be a little bit frustrated by the Chiefs' philosophy. By, hey, Rashee Rice is back, so wide receiver is now on the back burner again.
Are you interested in trading Rashee Rice? Because I have a trade, and I have a tweet I want to read.
I would be interested for the right price.
I'm curious. I have a trade here.
Let me hear the hypothetical.
Jacksonville, 88 and 164. That is basically what the Cowboys gave up to go get George Pickens in this year's draft. Remember, it was a future afterwards. Yeah. They gave up a 3rd-round pick and a 5th-round pick. So for Jacksonville, who would just be trying to pair a very productive wide receiver with somebody they already have. 88 and 164 for Rashee Rice.
Yes.
That's a no for me. That's a no for me.
Let's say this. Let's put this scenario out. Let's say Rashee Rice has a George Pickens year and you have to pay him. Or you have to tag him and pay him.
I just let him walk in free agency.
I would rather have the 3rd-round pick in that world, though.
Yeah, I guess for me, I guess
the 5th is whatever, but the 3rd is a big deal to me.
Yeah, I hear that. But I guess my argument would be is you still don't think that you've gotten close to the value out of Rashee Rice. I think for this year, and I mean, you were clearly going for it. Like, their moves, bringing back Travis Kelce, bringing back Eric Bieniemy, top 10 pick, the Chiefs are trying to go for it. Rashee Rice helps them in that endeavor. You can still plan for the future, whether it's at number 9 or whether it's at 29 when it comes to a wide receiver. So you got another young wide receiver to throw into the mix, but the Chiefs are going for it to me. So, I mean, your second best skill position player, because that's who I think Rashee Rice is. If you want to say that number 1 is Kenneth Walker and you want to go number 2 is Rashee Rice, I'm not really interested in trading my best pass catching option and my number 2 skill position player for the 88th and 164th overall pick. I would just play out this rookie contract and see what happens on the back end. Now, someone asked this question. 913-586-7965. Let me see if I can find it here. CDOT, does a 12,000-yard multi-touchdown season make him a tag and trade worthy? You could add picks for next year. I just would ask you guys this very simple question. The franchise tag for a wide receiver is $27.2 million. Would you guarantee Rashee Rice $27.2 million and give the Chiefs something significant to trade for him next year? Because there is almost no scenario in which I would do that if I'm another team. I don't really care what he does this season. He could go out and have 1,500 yards this year. I don't trust the guy. I don't trust him enough to give him that kind of money. Because then what I would think, if I'm another team, I would think you did that only because it was a franchise year, because it was a big year, because there was a financial incentive. And I would say one of the worst things that you can do so far based on the information we have with Rashee Rice's career is to reward him financially and take away all incentive to act right or perform at a high level. I'm not interested in that with him. I wouldn't be. There's no scenario in which, I don't care, he goes out, he has 92 catches for 1,600 yards, and no. Now I'm going to give that guy 4 years, $110 million and $70 million guaranteed. I'm going to turn him loose in the summer with that much money in his pocket. He hasn't handled his rookie contract well. He's now going to handle 5 rookie deals? No thanks. I'm not interested. There's no scenario in which I would pay Rashee Rice if I'm the Chiefs. None. He's shown me his character too many times. And we were talking about making that kind of financial investment. I personally couldn't do it. And I would find it very hard-pressed to think that you were going to get somebody to trade what it would take for a tag and trade on Rashee Rice.
I mean, there's basically no Pickens market, and I think Pickens is a better receiver. Let me ask you this, and I know we're running up against the break.
No, you're good.
You said something back there that intrigued me. You said you wouldn't do the trade because you haven't gotten the full value out of Rashee Rice. Why do you think that in that hypothetical trade? Because I, as someone who would trade him for a 3rd-round pick, as the hypothetical laid out, plus a 5th, I think you get all your value out of Rice. You get 2.5 years of productive wide receiver. If you want to tell me it's just 2 years of productive wide receiver, fine. You get 2 years of productive wide receiver. You then turn a 2nd-round pick into a 3rd-round pick, bonus pick. I'm betting if we look at the draft chart, late 2nd comes out around 3rd plus 5th. Maybe it's a little bit less. But I got 2 years of value. I don't get financially hamstrung by him. And I get the draft chart picks back in response, that feels like in the hypothetical, you are getting the full value out of Rashee Rice.
I personally, Carrington, I want to see what does motivated, healthy Rashee Rice look like in this offense. This would be my analogy. If you make $1 million donation to charity tomorrow, let's say that, Rob, you hit the lottery. You hit the lottery for $5 million. You turn around and you make a $1 million donation to 15 in the Mahomies. If every interview that we had Patrick Mahomes, you added, hey, I did this, it would probably get annoying. Be like, oh, why do you want so much credit? You still gave $1 million. Like, nobody can take away. Like, you changed people's lives if that's the case. I'll bring this analogy home. I don't care what gets Rashee Rice to perform at a high level next year. I don't care if it's money. I don't care if it's fame. I don't care if it's trying to impress his new girlfriend. But for the amount of talent that we all know Rashee Rice has, for him to not have a 1,000-yard season and not be able to put it together is disappointing. So you now have, for the first time in 2 years, 3 years, you got a chance for a guy not coming off an injury, a guy not facing suspension, a guy who should be motivated this year to come in and ball out. I'm curious to see what that looks like. Because with George Pickens last year, when George Pickens was in this exact same situation, now I think Pickens is better than he is. Last year, George Pickens had 93 catches for 1,500 yards and 9 touchdowns. He had 900 yards the year before with Pittsburgh. I'm not missing out on the George Pickens year for Rashee Rice. We've put up with way too much nonsense to let somebody else get the benefit of all of that. I'm sorry. I put up with way too much of it. I'm sorry. No, that's how I feel. I put way too much money in this car. Maybe it's a terrible analogy with Rashee Rice, but I put a lot of money in that engine. I'm getting the benefit out of driving it, and I'm not selling it, no. So I'm not putting up with the domestic violence allegations and the car allegations, and now that you're finally healthy and now you're not in trouble, I'm going to go let you go flourish in Jacksonville or Detroit in this? No. You're doing that in Kansas City. So I'm taking your car keys. I'm setting you up with an Uber account this summer, and we need you in the gym working. You need to be at Camp Pat. You need to be staying at the Mahomes house. Every time Mahomes is in the gym, you need to be there. You need to go put together a career year. Put together a 1,400-yard season and go get yourself paid and pay off some of these legal bills. That's the kind of motivation I would have for Rashee Rice. I don't care what he needs to do, but he needs to have a big season in 2026. Keep it right here, it's The Drive.
Your off-season home for everything Chiefs football.
Talking about the top story, the Chiefs, they have a new offensive coordinator.
96.5, The Fan.
Right now, new FanDuel customers can get up to $300 back in bonus bets every day for 10 days. Here's how it's going to work. Place any bet with FanDuel using the Bet Reset token, and if it doesn't win, you'll get up to $300 back in bonus bets every single day for 10 straight days. So whether you're into basketball, baseball, hockey, or something else, you can use your Bet Reset token to place any bet on your sport, and if it doesn't win, you'll get up to $300 back in bonus bets every single day for 10 straight days. So visit FanDuel.com/local to get signed up today. That's FanDuel.com/local. FanDuel, play your game. FanDuel Sportsbook is the official sportsbook of 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Missouri. Bonus bets are non-withdrawable and expire 7 days after receipt. Tokens are received in increments of 1 per day. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
DQ presents the Blizzard Double Flip Deal. For a limited time, when you buy one Blizzard treat, you get a second for just 99 cents. That's 2 Blizzards, 2 spoons, 2 flavors, and 2 flips. So don't miss out on the Blizzard Double Flip Deal, available only for a limited time and happening now at DQ. Because the only thing better than a Blizzard treat is a second Blizzard treat for just 99 cents. It's a deal to flip for. The Blizzard Double Flip Deal. Participation may vary.
There's a difference between liking a house and actually getting it. Redfin is built to make up that difference and close the gap between finding and owning the home for you. Redfin agents close twice as many deals as other agents, so when you find a home you love, you're not a step behind when it's time to make an offer. That means less watching great homes disappear and more focus on the ones you'll actually move into and call home. Redfin helps turn saved listings into real addresses. Get started at redfin.com. Own the dream.
If you own a small business, the pressure never lets up. Something's always coming at you. That's why business owners turn to LendSeek for funding.
I don't need promises. I need options. LendSeek's AI platform showed me real funding choices. Now I can cover payroll, handle taxes, and go after growth opportunities without the daily stress.
Up to $5 million with funding in as fast as 24 hours. No upfront costs. No prepayment penalties. Start ready, stay ready. LendSeek.com. LENDSEEK.com.
Easter's here, and this Easter Sunday, we're going out for brunch, and we're doing that at Hy-Vee. We're skipping the hassle of reservations for an overpriced restaurant brunch, and we're going to the family-friendly buffet brunch at Hy-Vee. $19.99 for adults, $6.99 for kids 6 to 12, and kids 5 and under eat free. And they've got all-you-can-eat favorites like scrambled eggs, biscuits and gravy, sausage, bacon, hash browns, fresh fruit, and so much more. No reservation required. We'll see you from 8 to 1 this Easter at Hy-Vee Market Grill.
Hop into Hy-Vee for all your Easter needs, like baskets, candy, chocolate bunnies, and more. Treat your family to Easter brunch at the Market Grill. Just $19.99 for adults, $6.99 for children 12 and under, and kids 5 and under eat free. Staying home? Make Easter easy with Hy-Vee's pre-made meals. Choose from your favorites, like honey glazed ham, green bean casserole, and au gratin potatoes. Just heat and eat. Make this your most excellent Easter ever, only at Hy-Vee.
Wouldn't you like to take a vacation from your bills? Well, you can. With credit card balances at an all-time high and Golden Oak's 4.5% rate, you could be saving thousands of dollars after a simple phone call. Call today and get your cash in as little as 14 days and make no payments for 2 months. Call 913-890-GOLD.
Golden Oak Landing cured my blues.
5.442 APR, FHA 15-year, 20% equity, qualified credit, additional terms apply. NMLS 114937.
J. Rieger & Co. Oh, so good. Quality crafted in Kansas City. J. Rieger & Co. Straight Bourbon Whiskey. Winner of Best Craft Bourbon at the 2025 Ascot Awards. At 90 proof, it's rich, well-balanced, and oh, so good. Quality crafted in Kansas City.
96.5 The Fan's draft coverage is brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete, the Leavenworth PD, and the Salvation Army Civic Breakfast. Here's your traffic report on 96.5 The Fan.
Traffic brought to you by Buckner's Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing at bucknershc.com. Buckner's is better. Heading into the weekend, traffic is light, but with showers in the area, the need for caution remains. Watch for slower speeds on I-70, where the left lane remains closed between 25th Street and US 40 31st Street. I'm Bill Brooks, 96.5 The Fan. Traffic. Don't get shortchanged on furnace and heater repairs. Buckner's Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing will provide a free second opinion, and they've been KC's best since 1983. Don't overpay. Get your free expert furnace evaluation at bucknershc.com. That's bucknershc.com.
Hey, it's Trey Smith from the Kansas City Chiefs. Welcome back to the Drive with CDOT on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
There's a lot of news happening right now in sports. So let me update you guys really quickly. We'll obviously be talking about this now. We'll talk about it in the hits, but maybe you're just getting in the car, just turning the radio on. I just wanted to update you on everything. So first off, the President of the United States signed an executive order to preserve the unique American institution of college athletics by restoring order, fairness, and stability. So, an executive order has been signed to, quote, establish a clear, consistent, and fair eligibility limits, including a 5-year participation window. They want a more structured transfer system, medical care for students, revenue sharing that includes women's and Olympic sports. So this is going to go in action in August 1st. This is going to be challenged by the courts. Another piece of college news from Yahoo Sports. The NCAA is expected to finalize an expansion of both the men's and women's tournament to 76 teams, which will be announced soon after the conclusion of this year's tournament. The proposal would add 8 games to the first 4, with 24 teams playing in an opening round before advancing into the main bracket. So there's been a lot of conversation. Yahoo Sports says that they are finalizing it and that we are going to see expansions when it comes to the NCAA tournament. I don't know about you. I'm thrilled to watch Auburn in Dayton, Ohio on a Tuesday on True TV. Fun will be had. We have been talking a lot about this news from Adam Schefter. The NFL concluded today that Chiefs wide receiver Rashee Rice, quote, has not engaged in any conduct that violates the personal conduct policy, and the investigation into accusations from his former girlfriend is now closed. There will be no discipline at this time. A statement from his attorney, quote, Mr. Rice wants to thank the NFL for their thorough investigation and looks forward to the start of this upcoming season. So that matter is behind us. We have been debating, discussing, whatever term you want to use, about what the expectations are for Rashee Rice now heading into the year. And would you now pull the cord and trade Rashee Rice? I mean, if you were going to do it, it needs to happen at some point in the next 3 weeks. You are not trading Rashee Rice after the draft, I would not guess. If you were going to do it, you need to do it now. Now, I would not trade Rashee Rice. If you could just get him to double what he did last season, he played in 8 games. If you could get that same player in the first half of the season and the second half of the season, he would have had 106 catches for 1,142 yards and 10 touchdowns. To give you an idea, that is basically what Chris Olave did last season. I would sign up for that if I'm Kansas City. If you were telling me that you add that player, not just for half the season, you have that player for the whole season, you now have a significantly improved run game. You now have a healthy version of Xavier Worthy, and I think they're going to spend a top 75 pick on a wide receiver again and throw that guy into the mix. The Chiefs could have a pretty dynamic offense next season. And with the throne right now being completely open in the AFC and they're not being that go-to kind of team, I'm not interested in trading Rashee Rice. I'm interested in trying to get the most out of him this season. And I would try to squeeze every last bit of juice out of that rookie contract that I could. So I would keep Rashee Rice. I would not trade him. I also am not very interested in paying him after this. This is a 1-year agreement I would have with Rashee Rice. Ball out this season. Go put up some big time numbers, and hey, we thank you. If you go get paid by somebody else, we're not going to be mad at it. We're not going to stop you. But I would not trade Rashee Rice.
See, I would trade Rashee Rice. I also, now, this is something we've talked about on the show a bunch. We don't dive too deep into it. You keep saying the AFC, the throne is wide open. There is no one on the throne. Do you really think the 6-11 Chiefs are going to ascend to the throne?
I think they absolutely can.
I think they're taking a step forward this year. Don't get me wrong. I don't think they're coming for the throne in the AFC. I don't think they're that good yet. I don't think they've made that level of improvement. That just boils down to the fact that you put more value in the run game than me. But I don't know the Chiefs have ascended to, hey, if they get a good year from Rashee Rice, the throne is open energy. I don't know you can finish third in your division and be talking about the throne in the AFC. That just feels like a big leap to me. So
I hear what you were saying, but I would say, the team that was on the throne last year was not a good football team the year before and took a pretty significant jump in 1 year.
To be fair, the team that should have won the AFC was the Broncos. They just lost their quarterback in the second to last game of the season. I think the Patriots lose if Bo Nix is playing or if Sean Payton figures out how to coach, but that's neither here nor there. So, I get your point, but I also think the team that throttled the Chiefs in their division was the team that should have ascended to, quote, the throne in that world.
Yeah, no, absolutely. The Broncos the Patriots were 4-13, and then the next season made the Super Bowl. So I understand what you're saying in principle, but I will continue to maintain. I wouldn't put the Chiefs at the top of my power ranking right now, but by the time the dust settles, by the time we know everybody's draft pick, whether you like a team's draft, you didn't like a team draft, wherever you sit at the very, very end of this thing, wherever you are, I don't know if there's going to be a tremendous gap amongst the top 4 or 5 teams that you have in the AFC, and I absolutely think that Kansas City is a part of that conversation. Now, I think we are so used to talking about it where the Chiefs are in such a big lead versus the competition that now it is interesting to talk about them as one in the mix. But if we randomly walked around on the street right now and we asked 100 people who's the best team in the AFC, I think you would get 4 or 5 different answers. That was not the case for I would say that hasn't really been the case for the last 20 years. There have been 2 answers for who that could potentially be. It was the Patriots for the longest time, and then one day we woke up and was like, I actually think it's the Chiefs now. So, yeah, this is the first time that I think going into the season that the throne is open and you can make a case for 4 or 5 different teams.
So you're more this is probably semantics, and that's fine. You're more saying that the Chiefs are part of the group that could ascend.
Yes, absolutely.
See, I actually agree with that, but I think they're part of a group that will finish between 10 and 13 wins. I don't think it's like they have a run game now. Watch out, they're back to 2024 glory. I think they are part of a cluster of teams that can do it. So I think we're saying the same thing, just a little bit different.
Yeah, to give you a college basketball analogy, since we're in the middle of the Final Four, I think they're UConn or Illinois. They're not Michigan or Arizona.
So we're actually very much on the same page.
Because to me, Michigan and Arizona, that's the Rams. That's the Seattle Seahawks. They're not either one of those teams, but UConn very easily could have been eliminated in this NCAA tournament. A couple of times they could have been eliminated. Illinois could have been eliminated a couple of times in this NCAA tournament. So yeah, that's where I think they will be heading into the season. That they will be a good team, that the hope is that they can put it together and potentially be a great team. Now, let's see what they do. They still got some other things to do. I still got questions about their wide receiver room. You and I are on the same page when it comes to pass rush. I don't know where the sacks are coming from on this team, and people are excited about them adding Kyer Elam to the team. So they still got some questions that they need to answer. But you got 9 draft picks. We're not done with free agency. You got 2 in the first round. I think the Chiefs are in a position to patch up a lot of the holes that they have. I also kind of see them as a little bit like San Francisco. Remember how San Francisco a couple of years ago, just everything went wrong. They missed the playoffs, and then last year they ended up being a decent team. They weren't a Super Bowl contending team, but they were a decent team. I think that Kansas City is going to be this year's version of San Francisco.
See, I'm happy to say that. I actually think we have to see this the exact same way. Just semantically we're saying it differently. Because the Niners were what? A 10-11 win team that did not win their division, but was light years better than the year previous. That's kind of how I feel the Chiefs. And if everything breaks right in the playoffs, it breaks right in the playoffs. But I don't think we're going into January saying it's the Arrowhead Invitational in 2026.
Yeah, I would be a little surprised if that ends up being the case, too. Are you excited about this expansion of the NCAA tournament?
No. I hate this. I can't. This might make me the most angry of anything that's happened
today. I can't wait for that Auburn-Oklahoma game in Dayton, Ohio. Like, you're not excited about that?
That's what makes it terrible. We're not expanding to make sure another mid-major gets in. Like, Indiana State from a few years ago didn't make it today. Auburn did. That's stupid.
God, it's going to be so good. I can't wait.
Welcome to the tournament, Colorado.
It's going to be so good. All right, coming up at the top of the hour, we'll update you on all of the breaking news. Carter Jensen was like the second biggest story like 30 minutes ago. Now it's like the 5th biggest story in Kansas City. News is coming in hot and fast. Keep it right here, it's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for K-State Athletics. 96.5, The Fan. Here's your traffic report on 96.5, The Fan.
Traffic brought to you by Buckner's Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing at bucknershc.com. Buckner's is better. Heading into the weekend, traffic is light, but with showers in the area, the need for caution remains. Watch for slower speeds on I-70, where the left lane remains closed between 25th Street and US 40 31st Street. I'm Bill Brooks, 96.5 The Fan. Traffic. Don't get shortchanged on furnace and heater repairs. Buckner's Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing will provide a free second opinion, and they've been KC's best since 1983. Don't overpay. Get your free expert furnace evaluation at bucknershc.com. That's bucknershc.com.
Well, it's Carrington Harrison from The Drive here. Let me ask you a couple of questions. Do you have poor sleep? What about low energy? How about brain fog, a reduced sex drive, weight gain, and workouts that just don't deliver like they used to? Well, the problem could be low testosterone. And the truth is, those testosterone levels can start declining as early as your 30s, 2 or 3% every single year. And before you know it, you just don't feel like the same man you did back in the day. Well, you don't have to accept this as just aging. Heartland Men's Health specializes in customized testosterone therapy and targeted body composition plans. You might think you have low T. Well, pick up the phone and call this number, 844-447-6600, or check out the website and take this simple 10-question quiz. Visit heartlandmenshealth.com. Your initial visit is just $100, includes a medical consultation, a PSA test, and lab results in about 30 minutes, and your treatment can start that day. 3 locations, Overland Park, Independence, North Kansas City. There's no need to wait. Go stop by and see my friends over at Heartland Men's Health.
Featured therapies are compounded and have not been evaluated nor approved by the FDA. Provider prescription required. See website for details. Furnished by IntelliBrands. Whether because of discomfort, lack of mobility, your lifestyle, or occupation, you sit inactively way too many hours a day. Get an Ellipse, the premium quality automatic seated exerciser that strengthens legs, increases mobility, and boosts circulation without physical strain or impact. Improve your flexibility and balance. Strengthen and tone your legs.
My joints feel better, my knees feel better, my back feels better, and it makes me feel stronger too.
My circulation is moving. I'm burning calories, and it makes me feel energetic.
It's so quiet that none of my coworkers even know I'm using it.
Call now and order Ellipse, the seated exerciser that strengthens legs, increases mobility, and boosts circulation. And for a limited time, get a free upgrade to our deluxe bundle with a faster motor, sport mat, and wireless remote. Call 800-555-1212. That's 800-555-1212. 800-555-1212 now. These statements and products have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or condition.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance tech at a university, he knows ordering from multiple suppliers takes time away from keeping their arena up and running. That's why he counts on Grainger to get everything he needs, from lighting and HVAC parts to plumbing supplies, all in one place. And with fast, dependable delivery, he's stocked and ready for the next tip-off. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
No one likes having to choose. That's why with America's best lineup of hybrids from Hyundai, you get the best of both worlds. Like the reliable and efficient Tucson Hybrid with America's best warranty. Or the stylish yet capable Santa Fe Hybrid with power to navigate the toughest terrain. It's like having your cake and eating it too. You know, if you could drive a cake. Hybrids from Hyundai. It's the best of both worlds. Visit HyundaiUSA.com or call 562-314-4603 for more details.
Right now, new FanDuel customers can get up to $300 back in bonus bets every day for 10 days. Here's how it's going to work. Place any bet with FanDuel using the Bet Reset token, and if it doesn't win, they'll get up to $300 back in bonus bets every single day for 10 straight days. So whether you're into basketball, baseball, hockey, or something else, you can use your Bet Reset token to place any bet on your sport, and if it doesn't win, you'll get up to $300 back in bonus bets every single day for 10 straight days. So visit FanDuel.com/local to get signed up today. That's FanDuel.com/local. FanDuel, play your game. FanDuel Sportsbook is the official sportsbook of 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Missouri. Bonus bets are non-withdrawable and expire 7 days after receipt. Tokens are received in increments of one per day. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Tonight, expect showers, thunderstorms, and mostly cloudy skies with a low of 40.
Weather brought to you by Staples. From posters and presentations to labels and loyalty cards, Staples has all the print to boost your brand. Shop now in-store and online. Staples. That was easy. Royals coverage on The Fan, sponsored by Salvation Army Kick Hunger Civic Lunch on May 7th. Get ready to kick off a summer of soccer in Kansas City while fighting hunger. Join the Salvation Army for the Kick Hunger Civic Lunch 2026 May 7th. Score big for local families in need. Grab your tickets or table today at kickhungerkc.com. That's kickhungerkc.com.
What's up, KC? It's Matt Strom from the Kansas City Royals. Don't miss Vern's On Deck show 1 hour before first pitch right here on 96.5 The Fan.
KFNZ FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey Sports Station.
Congratulations on getting through your 9 to 5. Thank you so much for listening. It is The Drive. If you missed it, there is a lot going on today in sports. We will do our best to cover it all here in the 5 o'clock hour. Do we know what's happening with the Royals game coming up later today? Because the weather's not good. It's not supposed to be good, but we haven't really heard an update. They haven't called the game, Rob. Do we have any update? Do we know what's going on at Kauffman Stadium today? I'm sure that all 11,000 people that are going to go out there, I'm sure they want to know.
As of now, there is no update. So as far as we know, the game will go on as planned, which means Vern might have a long night out in the K tonight.
Denny Matthews is looking up at the sky right now, just hating life right now. Just hating it. Just, oh my goodness. Please get me home. Denny, you know we love you. I can't wait to talk to you on Monday. I'm so excited to talk to Denny Matthews coming up on Monday. All right. So much to talk about. Let's get to the number one story. if you missed it, this is from Adam Schefter. The NFL concluded today the Chiefs wide receiver Rashee Rice has not engaged in any conduct that violates the personal conduct policy, and the investigation into accusations from his former girlfriend is now closed. There will be no discipline at this time. In a statement from Rashee Rice's attorney, quote, Mr. Rice wants to thank the NFL for their thorough investigation and looks forward to the start of the upcoming season. That is from Adam Schefter. That is from the NFL. Now, I am not saying this because I was right. I'm really not. But I do feel in the midst of everything that happened 6 to 8 weeks ago, there was a rush to dismiss him from the team when there was absolutely no reason to do so. The Chiefs, in my opinion, handled this exactly how you should handle it as an NFL team. They gave a very vague nonsense statement. They have not talked about it or addressed it since then. They let the legal process play itself out behind the scenes with the National Football League. The NFL has now reached its conclusion. The Chiefs will move forward business as usual. They will never talk about this. I mean, I think there's legitimate questions. The investigation, did the investigation include the former girlfriend or not? That seems to be a really, really important matter in this. This woman is claiming that an NFL player abused her. Was she a part of the investigation? Because if she was not a part of the investigation, that investigation was only going to go so far. If I say that you stole something from me and the cops come question you about what's missing and you have no interest in telling them, I don't really know what you think the police can do in that situation. Yet you're unwilling to cooperate. So I would love to get that answer. Something tells me we will never get the answer on whether or not his former girlfriend, mother of his 2 children, if she communicated. Now, Rob, you pointed out this earlier, which is a great thing to point out. To my understanding, she still has a civil lawsuit against Rashee Rice. I've not heard any update on what that is. I imagine we will get an update at some time. I'm also guessing at some point they are just going to settle the civil case. That's in everybody's best interest. Like, it's not like this woman can go away. They have children together. This is different than the Xavier Worthy situation. They were young. They don't have any kids. I'm guessing, just based on the way that it reads, Xavier Worthy gave that woman a little bit of money. Leave me alone. I won't contact you. You don't contact me. We're not going to tweet about each other. We're not going to talk about each other anymore. We are going to go our separate ways. You cannot do that when you have 2 kids with this woman. She cannot just go away. So it is in everybody's best interest that, A, there is nothing going to do that's going to take money out of his pocket in supporting her and their family, and settling their civil lawsuit as quickly and quietly as possible. Now, I don't say this to be dismissive. I don't say this to be crude in any way. This is the best case scenario for the Chiefs. It's over. We don't have to head into June or July and have all these conversations waiting on what's going to happen with the National Football League. We know 3 weeks prior to the NFL draft. So you get all the time to adjust your draft board accordingly. This did not or cannot catch the Chiefs off guard or by surprise. That's a good thing. And for the first time in quite some time, we can talk about Rashee Rice after today as a healthy, soon-to-be, completely exonerated, unsuspended, whatever term you want to use, player. And what does that look like for them going into the season? Because that has not been the case with Rashee Rice. If you are looking at his career, I mean, the last time you would say for Rashee Rice that we were talking about, you didn't have any injury, you didn't have any suspension, you didn't have any cloud hanging over you. I mean, we're talking about early 2024 that's the case. Because even in 2024, when he was healthy for those first couple of games, you still was kind of waiting on the trial and waiting to see what was going to happen. There is none of that right now that is hanging over Rashee Rice. Now, I made this point earlier. I'll make it again. The Chiefs need to get everybody that matters on a Zoom. Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce. I don't care if you got to put Taylor Swift on this Zoom. Mark Donovan, Clark Hunt, Andy Reid, everybody that matters with the Chiefs need to be on this Zoom. And this needs to be a conversation to talking to with Rashee Rice. My brother, this is it. If I wake up and I see you on TMZ for literally anything other than you showering your current girlfriend with gifts, you're off the team. If I wake up and I see on TMZ more pictures, more accusations, more videos, more nonsense, you're done here. So do what you need to do this offseason. Nobody is saying that you got to live like you're on house arrest. You're young, you got money, you want to go out, you want to have a good time with your friends. Good, I'd go out there, enjoy your offseason. You are entitled to do that. I don't want to hear a single story, not a peep from you, not a ripple nor a wave. None of that from Rashee Rice this offseason. This offseason needs to be about you going out and making the rest of the league pay. You're heading into a contract year. You're heading into 26 years old. You're healthy for the first time in a long time. This season should be about one thing and one thing only. This should be about you putting yourself in the best financial position for you and your family heading into the 2027 offseason. That needs to be your focus. That needs to be your mentality. Everybody needs to have the same message to Rashee Rice. So let's see how he plays it. I don't know how the Rashee Rice story is going to end. I have absolutely no clue. But what I do know is you are completely in the clear now for this incident. Don't put yourself back in the hot seat. And so far in your career, that's basically all you've done is put yourself back into the hot seat. You were in the hot seat with the car incident. Then a couple days later, you allegedly slapped a photographer at the club. Then we're like, all right, hey, cool, there's nothing going on. Then we pop up on Instagram and there's more nonsense. Enough. That's it. We spent more time talking about this than we talked about you being a football player. We're done here. So I would not trade Rashee Rice. I'm not signing Rashee Rice to a new contract. I'm not doing any of those things. You are heading into the fourth year of a 4-year contract. You've never put together a 1,000-yard season. You've never been a Pro Bowler. You've never been an All-Pro. You've never won an award. You've never done any of those things. Make that your goals. Make a vision board for all I care and go out and accomplish those. And maybe you don't get paid by Kansas City. Maybe they shake your hand at the end of this and you're Jalen Watson. You dominated on a rookie deal. You go off and you have success. But that's how I would play it if I'm the Kansas City Chiefs. I think that is in everybody's best interest for this upcoming season to play that way.
And you know what? I can't speak to the future contract. That the future is the future. It does look like the Chiefs are going to play it that way. When this news, the Instagram post, and the civil lawsuit broke, the Chiefs put out a statement and they were status quo. They were we are aware of it. We're going forward. We'll act on the results. They have done nothing to indicate they are trying to trade Rashee Rice. There has been no smoke around that idea. So it seems like what you want the Chiefs to do, what you want Rashee Rice to do, seems like the plan, at least for 2026. Again, I can't speak for 27. I can't speak for contracts. I don't know. But it does seem like the Chiefs' plan is Rashee Rice is wide receiver number 1. Maybe we pair him with a draft pick. Maybe we do something else. I don't know. But the fact they never acted any different makes me think the Chiefs are about to have come through rough waters, for lack of a better term, and Rashee Rice will be on the team and be playing in 2026. And then from there, let's see what happens.
I just don't trust Rashee Rice. Maybe that's the best way of putting it.
On a personal level. On football
yes,
or personal?
On a personal level.
Because football, he also gets hurt a lot too. Yeah. So it can work both ways.
I do not trust him on a personal level. So how I would play it this season, Rob, I would treat Rashee Rice the way you talk about treating running backs. I would use Rashee Rice this season. I would use him up. I would thank him for his services and let him go play for another team. I cannot see a scenario in which I come on here in 10 months and I'm advocating for the Chiefs to pay Rashee Rice. I cannot do that in good conscience. I can't. There's no world in which I could see myself doing that. So this season, ball out and good luck to you if that ends up being the case. But at least for me, this does not change any commentary I have about the Chiefs and wide receiver. I still feel with the 9th overall pick, my ideal would be I would like for them to either get a defensive lineman and somebody that can get after the other team's quarterback or a wide receiver. They still don't have a great long-term plan at pass catcher. I don't know what's going on with Rashee Rice, and if he's going to be on the team, I have way more questions about Xavier Worthy than I think most other people have. I like Tyquan Thornton, but he's a role guy. I know people like Jalen Royals. Jalen Royals couldn't get on the field last year when they had preseason games. Like, that's one thing I don't think we talk about nearly enough with Jalen Royals. They didn't trust him to get on the field at all last year. Really, at any point last year. The Chiefs had a gift, at least when it came to this. They had a legitimate gift. They had an opportunity at the end of the season to play him in a way that did not hurt you at all. He played 3 snaps in the Tennessee game. He played 5 snaps in the Broncos game. He played 43 snaps in that game against the Raiders. Half of his snaps last season came in the last game of the year, where I think the Chiefs were openly tanking, openly trying to lose that game for draft space. So I'm just not going into this year expecting anything from Jalen Royals. Whatever you get from him, great, is good. So if they got a chance to get Carnell Tate at 9, take him. If you got a chance to get Mekhi Lemon at 9, take him. And do not think that because right now Rashee Rice is not in trouble, please do not count on that. That's a terrible way to operate if you're the Chiefs.
I'm just going to get ahead of this. If it's the Friday after the draft, April 24th, and we're doing the show, and the Chiefs don't take a wide receiver round 1, and someone texts in, well, they have Jalen Royals, this show might break. This show might freak out. There's a reason not to take a wide receiver at 9. I would take one in the first round. I'm actually on the same page as you. But if they don't take one and we start getting, well, they have Jalen Royals text, that's going to be a dark time in NFL draft conversations on this show.
No, you're right. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, you're right.
He had barely had more targets than me and you. He had less targets than Justin Ross, who everyone immediately gave up on.
They threw him the ball 3 times last year. That's all I need to know. That's literally all I need to know. 3 times.
Wide receiver Elijah Mitchell.
It was worse than Elijah Mitchell. That was worse. That was worse. All right, let's do this. Let's shout out Baker University. Let's talk a little bit of Final Four. We'll get back to Rashee Rice here in a bit, but there's some other news that's happening in sports right now. We'll get to it in the hits.
Your workday is over.
Oh, yeah.
You're headed home, and now you're stuck in traffic. Time to get caught up on the biggest stories in Kansas City and around the country with CDOT and Rob. It's time for the hits. Number 1.
Carrington Hits are brought to you by the Salvation Army. Get your tickets today at kickhungerkc.com for the Salvation Army's Civic Lunch, which will take place on May 7th.
All right, so a couple of different things to get into, at least. Let's start with number 1. So there is an executive order that has been signed by the President of the United States. Let me read to you as follows. Protecting the future of college athletics before it's too late. Today, the President signed an exclusive order to preserve the unique American institution of college athletics by restoring order, fairness, and stability. It then goes on for some of the bullet points. It wants to establish clear, consistent, and fair eligibility limits, including a 5-year participation window. So basically, you got 5 years to play. None of this 6 or 7. You got 5 years to play college athletics. Once that window is closed, you're done. That is a part of this executive order. It also goes on, setting structured transfer rules for academic and athletic continuity, ensuring medical care for all student athletes, implementing revenue sharing in a manner that protects and expands opportunities in women's and Olympic sports, banning improper financial arrangements, including pay-for-play agreements facilitated by collectives and similar entities, establishing protections against unscrupulous agent conduct. So this executive order, I would say, if you went to a college game and you took a survey from people, what are the things that you dislike most about college athletics? It is addressed in all of those bullet points. They play for too many teams. They play for too long. We want it to be fair. That is what this is. Now, it will be very interesting to see if this can hold up in court, because this is just the framework of things. This can be and will be challenged in the court system. So we will see what happens. This cannot go into effect until August 1st. I imagine there will be a lot of arguing, a lot of debating about what the future of college athletic looks like. But a lot of the structure that people say they want the sport to have, that is what this executive order is detailing and outlining in the way that it is written. So that is hit number one.
Number 2.
Hit number 2, I want to play for you guys what Tommy Lloyd had to say. Tommy Lloyd, he is the head coach at Arizona. He is going to stay the head coach at Arizona. Here's what he had to say.
I'm happy to announce I'm staying at Arizona. We've been able to get some things done the past couple days. I really appreciate, President Garamella, John Arnold, and Desiree, for showing a real commitment to our program. And, Arizona basketball, you guys know what it means to me. And when I say it's a special place, that always comes from the bottom of my heart. I didn't want to make this entire Final Four about that because I'm just a small part of something much bigger. But on that same note, I'd also like to, let you know that North Carolina is an amazing place. I mean, it's a one of one. And, it's an honor to even be, considered for that job. And, the young kid, for me, the college basketball junkie, watching those games at home, never would have thought something like that could have happened to somebody like me.
So that is Tommy Lloyd. He is the head coach at Arizona. I want to read to you the latest from Matt Norlander. Sources: North Carolina offered Tommy Lloyd a top 2 contract in college basketball. So the top 2 highest paid coaches in the sport, Bill Self is number 1, John Calipari is number 2. They both make over $8 million. Lloyd took less money to stay at Arizona, but he is going to get bumped up to $7.2 million starting next season. His staff is also going to get a huge bump. They also now get incentives placed in their contract. So when you win the league, when you win the conference tournament, when you go to the Final Four, the head coach has those incentives in his deal. His assistants are also going to have that in their deal. This also seems very, very important. According to Matt Norlander, he will also no longer report to the AD. When you get really good at your job, you get leverage. And when they really want you, you get even more leverage. He used his leverage to change the power dynamic at Arizona. That was worth the $800,000 to him. That's what it was. I'm going to get a significant bump. I was making $5 million. Now I'm at 7.2. I'm cool with leaving a little bit of money on the table, but her and I, who used to be the AD at Missouri, her and I do not work well together. I don't want to have to answer to her anymore. I don't report to you. I report to the chancellor. I report to the president. You can go get updated on what I'm doing, but I don't report to you anymore. That was worth the $800,000. Now, this is an important question. KU fans, I promise I'm not throwing stones. I promise I'm not throwing shade. If these coaches are saying no to North Carolina, I would imagine they will soon be saying no to Kansas too. I'm going out on a limb. Kentucky was available a couple of years ago, and we know multiple coaches said no to Kentucky. North Carolina is currently open. Iowa State's coach is not leaving. Ben McCollum at Iowa, he is not leaving. Tommy Lloyd is not leaving. Now, I don't know what the latest looks like at Michigan, but John Rothstein says that Michigan is prepared to do whatever it takes to keep their head basketball coach.
This is one domino. The next thing I think we need to look at is where does Carolina turn next? Now, I talked in the last hour to Michigan AD Ward Manuel because Dusty May is obviously going to be also at the top of that list. He told me we're prepared when all this is over to do anything we have to do to keep our coach. Gary, that means one thing. Dusty May's kids are not going to have to deal with student loans, and North Carolina is either going to have to wait until after the NBA season to talk to Billy Donovan or go down its list.
So the only reason I bring Kansas up is I think you got to operate like this is Bill's last year. You got to. You got to be operating like this is Bill's last year. And if it's not, great. But you got to be operating like this. If you're not getting Tommy Lloyd, if you're not getting Dusty May, if Ben McCollum has made it clear he wants to stay, if TJ Osselberger has made it clear he wants to stay, Hoiberg is making it clear he wants to stay, like, Who's really on the list at Kansas, I think, is a genuine question that I wish we had more time to get to. We're off a little bit early today because of the Royals. Hopefully, if you're headed out there, the weather holds up today. It don't look good outside. That's all I got to say. It don't look good. I'll catch you guys on Monday, but until then, I'll let Daniel Craig take you home.
Ladies and gentlemen, the weekend.
You're listening to The Drive with Carrington Harrison.
I mean, come on, guys. What are we doing here?
On